In Colorado, there is only one place that has the best selection of collectibles. Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
For over 27 years, Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics has been the ultimate destination for collectors.
They have a wide selection of hard-to-find coins, action figures, role-playing cards. You can go over there and get yourself a copy of Dominion and sports memorabilia.
Hey, Peyton Manning's a Bronco. I was there yesterday. They have a signed Peyton Manning jersey.
And, of course, they've got comics, which is what I go there for.
All their back issues are half off. On Saturday, all dollar issues are only 50 cents.
And if you sign up for a hold slot, you'll get 20% off graphic novels and comics.
So stop by 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada, Colorado, and tell them the Real Nerd sent you.
For barbecue that can't be beat, try Birdman Barbecue Sauce. Available and original and spicy. These robust, full-flavor sauces have the awesome power to kick your taste buds in their face. And for that smoking taste on everything you eat, try new Birdman Smokin' Rub. Caution! Meat left unrubbed may suffer from flavor performance anxiety. You can pick up Birdman Barbecue at local area Ace Hardware stores, Ruff's Barbecue in Golden, and the Danny Cash Hot Shop off Broadway. You can also like us on Facebook at Birdman BBQ.
Welcome to Real Nerds. This is a family-friendly edition of Real Nerds because of the two little kids we interviewed at Comic-Con, and they're huge Spider-Man fans, so they will have an interview a little later on in the show. In front of me is
Joe,
our special guest today, and next to Joe is
Brad, as usual.
Brad didn't know. He was handed a mic, and he's like, eh.
If there's a gap, I can just cut it out, and it won't sound like I, missed a beat.
Flub.
Okay.
Oh, not a bad idea.
Sure. And also to my right is
James. Sorry, I didn't wait for you to stop talking.
No, I know. I was really drawing it out. I was
Oh,
going to do a
yeah.
huge introduction, and then
were
you cut
really?
me off because he just
Was
keeps
it
on
gonna be
talking.
really sweet? Oh.
It was. And we also have a live studio audience making RJ. What's up, guys?
They both said
You
hi.
didn't hear that, but they said, hey.
They're excited to be here.
They're really excited to be here.
It's crazy. We got like a full house today.
We do. Literally. So this week we saw The Amazing Spider-Man, and you'll have to stay tuned to see how we felt about that. So, hey, guess what, guys? We got a lot of mail this week.
Fan mail!
Brad, did you want to do the call-ins first, or do you want me to read stuff people have sent us?
Whatever you want to do, Ryan. It's your show.
Thank you. I wanted you to say that. We'll be reading some emails first. We actually got a pair of emails from our good friend Russell. See, you were so concerned that we were making fun of him that he wouldn't email us back, but Russell
I
has a
didn't want
great
him to
sense.
email us back. He told me that. Well,
He told
he told us bad things.
Thank
before.
you. Remember, this is family friendly, guys.
I'm trying real hard. Ah.
So,
Everybody wanted to say the
I
joke
know,
so bad.
damn
I broke the podcast.
this is going to be hard. So Russell said, "I'm brave. Dabba-dee, dabba-day, die, dabba-doo, dabba-dee." What is he writing?
It's that Eiffel 55
You know.
or whatever song.
You
remember?
know, blue.
I'm
Blue
blue.
uppity bye 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 bye.
No, I don't.
You don't know the
No, I
uppity dabbity
don't.
song?
So I don't get the reference, but
Oh.
cool.
It's a song from like the 90s. It sucked.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyways, it said, "Hey guys, I'm writing from London, England." That's right. He went out there, saw a bunch of pictures.
Oh,
They're
wow.
cool pictures. Pictures, Russell. I also started talking like a kid. What was that about? He said, "I'm writing from London, England. Thanks for being my amusement for the 8-hour-long flight.
Wow.
I would have called and left you a message, but it's not worth international calling charges. It's always worth international calling charges,
I'm
Russell.
sorry, he listened to us for 8 hours,
That's awesome.
and he didn't kill himself when it was over?
No, dude,
Wow,
our podcast
we're
is
pretty damn good.
it's entertaining, James.
Darn good.
Yeah. I was about to insert a smiley, but remembering that you read this out loud and left it out. So, I read it anyways, Russell. if you would have left a smiley face, I would have said, international calling charges, smiley face, emoticon winking. But you didn't leave one, so.
LOL.
He wanted to comment on the Pixar Brave review. I agree with Ryan about how Pixar's movies are graded almost unfairly harshly.
Yeah.
Every Pixar movie is at least great. A few of them stand out as fantastic. with the only exception of Toy Story 2, which I thought was the weakest Pixar movie.
Whoa! Has he seen the Cars movies? Because that stuff is garbage.
Garbage?
Garbage.
False.
Especially Cars 2. Cars 1, mediocre.
False. Brad's going to chime in real quick because he's shaking his head in disbelief.
You don't have to announce every time I grab the mic.
Well, I have to because there's like this pause, and then we're all waiting for you to go.
Cut it out.
You're gonna listen to the whole show again and cut this out?
I always listen to the whole show.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Anyway, I was just going to disagree with James. Like, Cars and Cars 2 aren't that bad.
Cars 1 isn't that bad. Cars 2 is...
In fact, they're good.
Cars 2 is not good.
Hey, Cars 2 has Bruce Campbell as a voice, so that makes it pretty good in my
great.
book.
Yeah.
So does The Man with the Screaming Brain. Do you want to watch that right now?
Yeah, sure.
Ah, damn
He
it.
directed it. It's in Bulgaria.
It's
All of
okay.
these movies have more story, character, and consistency than majority of movies that are released.
Absolutely.
That's the reason why the trailer for Brave makes this movie so enticing. It once again portrays Pixar's ability to provide a story framework that is meaningful and connects with a broad range of audiences. Which reminds me, I was going to watch it anyways, but now I'm super psyched to go see it. Off to find a red-headed Irish lass to see it with. I'm excited to hear from you next, Russell.
Was that your Sean Connery impression?
No, that was my Irish. You
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
meanie head. We also got some comments from Alex Sullivan. We know him as Sully. We met him at Comic-Con.
Sully is awesome.
I actually met him the day before at, I've said this many times, at the auction at Mile High Comics. And he sent us a couple things. The first thing he said is, I hate the movie Brave.
Aw.
To me, it was like you put Brother Bear meets Freaky Friday, and it was horse. And I hate it.
Oh, well, spoilers for Brave.
And
I disagree, though. I mean, it was very much Freaky Friday,
Yeah.
but that's okay. How many
That's all right.
How many times have they remade Freaky Friday? Well, twice.
A couple.
But they're, good.
And then he also put, I saw the movie Brave. It sucked ass. But the
Man,
cool,
we're doing such a good job at not swearing and being vulgar on the podcast, but the people who listen to this show do not.
exactly.
That's
Good
okay.
thing Brad's going to be responsible. Listen to this and beep all those out. So, moms, remember, all the curse words will be bleeped out.
Yeah. And under the bleep, we never actually said anything. It's just the bleep is added for comedic effect.
It is. And then the last thing he said is he was waiting in line for Spider-Man like we were the night we were at Spider-Man. We were all sending out tweets. So he says he can't wait to hear about it. Hey, Sully, thanks for sending us a couple of comments, and we appreciate it.
Backing up a second. So he was waiting to see Brave, and then the other tweet was he saw it and thought it was terrible.
Yep.
All right. Sorry. I wasn't quite following it, but that's a shame. But everyone's entitled to their opinion.
That's what's great about America.
When do you want to tell that story about what happened when we saw Spider-Man?
Oh, when we get to the review of Spider-Man.
Okay. So look forward
Wait
to that.
on pins and needles for that one. So we also got a few voicemails this week.
We did.
And
And Jesse, you can wait for yours since it's Spider-Man related. You can wait till the review to hear it.
yeah, so it will be at the end. Sorry, Jesse. It's not that we like you the least. It's just you have spoilers kind of in your review like we do all
Which
the
is
time.
fine.
So that's
Yeah.
fine. So that's fine.
So it'll be after the trailer later.
It'll be after the trailer. So just stay tuned for that, Jesse. We actually got a celebrity to call us this week,
Whoa, what?
which is crazy.
Is it George's Jonty? Because I think he likes me now.
No, that's
Oh.
awesome if he does.
No, I don't. I mean, I just made that up, but...
But we got a real celebrity to call our Google Hot voicemail. So, Brad, if you want to play this celebrity.
So the other day, I went and saw Spider-Man. But it wasn't the right Spider-Man. So I go out and I asked the clerk, I'm like, hey, clerk, Spider-Man, there's no Tobey Maguire. And he says, hey, you Mark Wahlberg? I said, yeah, I'm Mark Wahlberg. What do you think? Where's Spider-Man? He says, I don't know. And then I just stared at him, and he stared back at me. And then I walked away.
Dude, freaking Marky Mark called us? I mean, this is...
I really like his underwear. I'm just...
Dude, this is for kids, man.
Oh, well, no, I mean, they're very comfortable.
Wait, he makes his own underwear?
What, didn't he? Wasn't he famous for being an underwear model? I assume
I
the
don't know.
models
He's
make
famous
their
for
own clothes,
lots of
right?
things.
I think he's famous because he felt it.
Oh.
Some would say, feel it, feel it.
Actually, I think he was a Calvin Klein model.
Was he?
Yeah.
But he obviously, he listened to our TED review last week, like what he heard. He went ahead and called us and told us he saw Spider-Man. And so I'm glad that Mark Wahlberg gets out and sees movies as well.
Yeah,
He's a fan.
possibly drunk or something.
Yeah, possibly. But you know what? Thanks, Mark. We appreciate the phone
I
call.
don't think he knows how to work
I think
his
I can
phone
call
either.
him. I think I can call him Mark now. I don't have to call him
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg. He called our show, so he's like my bud.
I just call him. I call him E.
E.
Yeah, just E.
What does that mean?
Because he was Marky Mark, so I just call him E.
Oh, so you just
Clever.
cut that off?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
yeah.
it be
Hey,
Y?
How
It's a
you
very
doing?
inside thing.
Wait, wouldn't it be
between you
Y?
and-
Or is it? Does it spell Marky M-A-R-K-E?
Wait. Was it Marky? It wasn't like Mark space E
No,
space
it's
Mark.
Marky.
I've been living a lie.
You have been.
Oh
James,
my goodness.
I just got an email from Mark Wahlberg saying that your name for him is disrespectful. Just now it happened.
Wow. So thanks, Mr. Wahlberg. We appreciate you calling us.
That was
yeah, do
unbelievable.
call again.
And here's the second message that we got this week.
Yeah, hi. My name's Adam. I'm just calling in. I kind of was, I listened to your podcast for Ted and so on and so forth, and you guys talked about Moonrise Kingdom a little bit. And I was kind of curious to see what you guys thought about the Darjeeling Limited has kind of a, it involves the Darjeeling story as well, but it also has a short movie at the beginning about France and stuff like that. And basically kind of to break up the whole, the whole beginning of everything. But I was kind of wondering what you guys thought of that. So I think that Wes Anderson has a very unique style, so it's really interesting, and I'm just kind of curious to see. So thank you very much. Bye.
So he's asking what we thought of Hotel Chevalier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, James, what did you think of Hotel Chevalier?
I hated it actually, and I'm
Wow.
like people. I remember the reviews of Darjeeling being kind of middling. And
Natalie Portman's butt.
Way to skip right to it. I really liked Darjeeling Limited. I was a huge defender of that movie.
Yeah, me too.
But I hated that first section because
Really?
it feels so out of context and it's so tonally different than the rest of that movie that I just didn't know why it was there or what its purpose was. And
it sets up why one of the brothers is all bummed out.
yeah.
Is there a
but
Wes
I don't
Anderson
think
movie you don't like, Brad?
I don't think it matters.
Your mom?
Hey, hey, that brother being like why exactly he's bummed out I don't think matters, and I think that you kind of have an idea based on just the little bits that Natalie Portman
He's
is in
depressed.
the movie.
Like, he's on the whole vacation
I
because
know.
he's depressed.
No, I know
then
that.
the whole short sets up why he's depressed.
No. The whole short is just him and Natalie Portman having sex. That's the whole short, as I remember it. I mean, there's little bits of dialogue in there, but it's
There's
not.
a train in it.
And visually, I don't think it's anywhere near as cool as what Darjeeling Limited does. So I don't love it. Brad, you like it?
What movie are we talking about?
Did you ever see Darjeeling?
I don't remember anything about it. I
Yeah.
saw it so long ago.
But I had that short with, before the movie.
with Natalie Portman's butt.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's all right. As far as the Wes Anderson movies go, it's probably one of my least favorites
Oh yeah.
because I saw it once, I never saw it again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But the short is just short. It's just kind of like...
Yeah, but I think that it starts the movie because especially when you watch it on the DVD, it's at the beginning of the movie. I think it starts the movie off on like completely wrong foot. If you want that information in the movie, like find a place to fit it in. Or I watched it on iTunes like weeks before it got released in theaters, and then it kind of made sense. Then it was just like this little short film that was interesting but stood on its own. Whereas if it's the first step of the movie, I think it totally knocks everything off kilter.
and I just want to say, I asked Brad a legitimate question. He said my mom, so that's really nice, Brad. Thank you.
But yeah,
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Is it really a Wes Anderson movie you don't like?
I don't think so, no.
Cool.
Is there a movie you guys don't like?
No, I was just curious.
Well,
Oh.
because you always, every time there's a Wes Anderson movie come out, you just love it. So I was just curious if there's one that you didn't like.
I don't like
yeah.
Rushmore.
You don't like Rushmore?
I don't
he
like-
said
I
it.
don't like
he said
Rushmore.
it. Wow,
I
are you
don't-
going to see that at midnight this week?
Yeah, I guess you're not. Come with me, James.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it.
Nice.
Probably
Cool.
tonight.
Cool.
So, yeah. Well,
Thanks for calling in, as always.
thanks.
Thanks.
Absolutely,
Adam.
yeah. That was a good question too. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, so
And
thanks, Adam.
we're glad you like Ted.
And yeah, so thank you everybody for calling in. Remember, you can leave us a voicemail, 720-6nerds5. You can tweet us real_nerds. You can email us directly, realnerds@gmail.com. You can like us on Facebook and leave a post on Facebook, and we'll read it. You can leave a comment on our Tumblr page, realnerdspodcast.com, and we will read it on air. We don't care.
Rule of thumb for the internet is that all underscores are important.
Yes, please remember the underscore is important. We appreciate it. So, hey, let's unspool some real news.
It's real news.
So in box office numbers, I'm actually kind of surprised how much money Ted made.
Yeah.
It made $54.1 million.
Yeah.
And I was reading, Movie Phone always has an article that comes out before the final numbers are released, or it's like on Thursday, and they have a tracker. I think it's Hollywood.com that actually tracks, or maybe the Hollywood Reporter. And they were saying maybe $25 million to open, so that it just blew expectations away, is pretty good. And even as it's been playing throughout the week last week, it's still holding up really well.
It's $10 million more than The Hangover 1 made its opening weekend.
So,
which,
I mean, just give you a estimation. What if
Yeah.
Hangover finished with $279? Something like that?
Yes. Shoot, I was just looking at it, but Hangover's its opening weekend was 44.
And then overall is over $200 million.
Yeah.
And then the second movie
279.
was Magic Mike, and that made $34 million, which is also really shocking for what kind of subject matter it was. So I guess women really wanted to see men take off their clothes.
And we'll talk about this later, but it is actually like a fairly subdued. Well, that's not the right word, but it's a serious Steven Soderbergh movie, and for that in the middle of the summer to do that well, yeah, there's some
Serious?
yes,
It's a serious movie?
yes, it is.
Really? Because I was reading an interview with Channing Tatum, and he said it was silly.
There is silly stuff in it, but at its core, we'll talk about this in what we've been watching.
Okay.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So, James, I don't have the information in front of me, so what's coming out next week?
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Blu-ray?
It's really just American Reunion.
What about Adventure Time? I watched a couple of those episodes. I'll talk about what we've been watching.
It says season 1. I have to believe that has had more than
I don't know.
have to believe that's been on DVD before. But yeah.
So, yeah, American Reunion's really the only one. You also wanted to mention the Christian Bale China movie.
Oh, well, yeah. The Flowers of War. I don't even know if it ever got released over here. I don't know if I will ever watch it. But it's out. You can go get it.
Cool. So that's a light week.
Yeah, very light.
Kind of slowing down because all the big movies are coming out in the summer again.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm going to save some money this week.
Well, unless you are really into iCarly, you could get season 4 of iCarly.
Nice. My older brother Steve loves iCarly because he watches it because he has children, and then there's some kid on it who's really funny. I guess I never watch it.
I didn't expect that to actually be a real comment.
Oh, wow.
It is, my friend. It is. The biggest news this week is Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes got a divorce.
Oh, God, no, it's not.
Tomcat is no more. And I'm really heartbroken. Why can't Tom Cruise find someone to love him?
We have really serious news to talk about. Like, actually sad
I
news.
don't get why he's been married 3 times. And no one loves him.
Because he's so short, man. Like,
He'll find the right man.
the only man on the planet shorter than him is Ray Parks. That's how short Tom Cruise
But
is.
he makes so many good movies, and
He can run really well.
He runs awesome.
he jumped on a couch
Man.
proclaiming. Actually, a funny story about this is I read the interview with him in Playboy, and he was talking about how much Katie Holmes was awesome and how much he loved her, and then this happened, and I was actually kind of shocked. I guess she didn't like him at all. Anyway, so real
It
news.
was a plot to infiltrate the Scientology church
Yeah.
and expose them.
Well, if you have enough money, you
Amazing.
can, be part
That'd
of
be
it.
cool if it was, man.
Wouldn't that be neat? Like she's
Oh.
a double agent?
Actually, it would be.
That'd
yes.
be awesome.
Dude, we need to make this movie. Oh.
Also, I have actually a couple real news things.
Okay.
I obviously follow Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man people, and they released that the Amazing Spider-Man is the first part of a trilogy that the second one's already gonna come out in 2014, so you don't even have to wait that long for another Spider-Man movie.
Well, and we already kind of knew this because
You did.
years ago when they were just going to make this a Spider-Man 4. James Vanderbilt turned in a trilogy of scripts.
He did.
So we kind of knew that this one was leading up to some stuff.
But they hired new screenwriters to do it.
Plus, in the world of Avengers, you no longer make a comic book movie to stand on its own.
Nope. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And also, normally I wouldn't mention this because I love the movie Psycho. I think it's a great movie, but the producers of Lost are creating a prequel to the movie on A&E called Bates Hotel.
Yeah.
So if they create like kind of a psychological thriller where it studies, because I think Norman Bates is a great character, and kind of explain his downfall, and you don't have to show him killing his mother. You can just see how he was beforehand, and
I think
I'm interested.
That was a piece of news that I cut out because I knew we were going to be a little heavy on time. I think is really an exciting. It's weird because it's another, hey, we're going to take this thing that you already know and make something new out of it. But I think there's a lot of potential to make a cool show out of that, especially now that like horror television is starting to take off.
I agree.
Especially after American Horror Story. I think it could be pretty cool.
So yeah, those are my two little quick news things
Yeah.
that I thought were interesting this week. James, what else you got for me?
Well, as always, I'm going to start with a downer.
Oh, you
but this is honestly the biggest news of the week, which is that Andy Griffith died on the 3rd. Were you guys big Andy Griffith fans? Like, did you watch the Andy Griffith show?
Yeah, I mean everybody knows the song and everybody knows characters from it. So.
I
When
mean,
you're
it was
sick. It was pretty much always on.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was always on in the middle of the day.
Yep.
That's when I watched a lot of it. And that hit me hard though. Like Andy Griffith was such a lovable, iconic dude. I said on Facebook that I feel like he he wanted to make the world a better place, and he did it through some of the best possible ways, through like telling good, heartwarming stories and encouragement and all of that.
He did have that really cool voice. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like really comforting.
Exactly. Like you wanted him to be your grandpa. And then of course he in my mind has become like a piece of Americana.
Sure.
And so it's really a shame that he is no longer here. But he was 89 years old, which is a good long life. So that's good.
It is.
It's actually the same age as Stanley.
It is.
Which makes me nervous.
And
Hey, I'll liven things up. At trivia this week, one of the team names was Mayberry R.I.P.
Oh, that's
whackity
horrible.
smackity doo.
Dang it.
I did it. It was me.
So there's a lot of movies that are always floating around that you keep hearing about that you think like, well, that's probably never going to actually happen. And honestly, on my list has always been Edgar Wright's Ant-Man movie. People have been talking about it forever, but this week about a week and a half ago, because you have to remember since we did Ted early, this is slightly old, but he went out and did a test reel to try and prove to studios like, I can make a cool movie where a guy has the superpower to get small and then get real big, because understandably that doesn't sound like the most interesting superpower, like visually, but the fact that he is actually working on that, they've said there's a script, it means this is gonna happen, and especially after the Avengers doing as well as it has.
He is a member of the Avengers too.
Oh yeah.
So you can
Now whether or not he'll be in Avengers 2 is up in the air, but
yeah.
It's
pretty
a freak story about Rick Moranis and a shrinking device.
Speaking of the producers of Lost, Damon Lindelof is actually coming back to TV. We teased this a few weeks ago because there was rumors that he signed a contract with somebody, and he's doing a show for HBO called The Leftovers, which is based on a Tom Perrotta script, who's the guy who wrote like Election and Little Children.
I love Election.
Election's a good movie.
Yeah, so it's sort of a post-Rapture kind of a movie. Like it doesn't, the book at least is about like one day a whole bunch of people disappear, nobody knows where they go. I don't think that it straight up says it's the Rapture, but it's sort of like that. And then it's about sort of the people who are left behind and them trying to rebuild their lives based when people have just disappeared, which sounds very much right up Damon Lindelof's alley, where it's mystical and there's weird stuff going on, but at the same time it's really a character-driven kind of a show.
Is it Jesus-y though? I mean, is
No.
it real? Is it about?
Is it Jesus?
How much Jesus?
Because I can only take so much Jesus in my story.
What's the percentage of Jesus? Well, no. I mean, Damon Lindelof is a Jew, so there's probably not going to be that much Jesus in
Hey,
it.
so is Jesus.
Fair point. And it's on HBO, so no, it can't have that much Jesus in it. But it sounds to me, based on the article I read, because I haven't read the book, that it's a pretty ambiguous kind of a thing. Like they don't. It's not necessarily about the religion. It's more about rebuilding in a more post-apocalyptic kind of a way. So anyway, I think it sounds really interesting, and I'll look forward to it. And it'll be weird to see that kind of a show on HBO, because anymore HBO I think of as sort of a either genre or just straight up drama, or every now and then they'll have a 30-minute comedy about drugs, but I don't think of them as really doing like fun shows anymore. So we'll see. That's everything I got.
Nice. Oh, Brad, do you have
Brad,
news?
bringing some to the podcast.
It's actually kind of old news, but I thought it was fascinating.
Yes, we know we
So-
landed on the moon, Brad.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys heard about that?
Well, actually, I've heard maybe we didn't. Well, I don't know.
Oh,
Don't be
that's
one of those guys,
blowing
James.
my mind here.
No, I'm very much not. Anyway,
Destroy my little world. While I was out getting comics, I found an old Starlog issue.
what's
that had
Starlog?
Yeah. What's Starlog?
Yeah, what's
Oh, it's an old
Starlog?
sci-fi magazine.
Like movies in general.
Yeah.
What's a magazine?
Before iPads, James, there was these things made out of paper. It's old sci-fi movie style magazine.
Cool.
It's from like the 80s and early 90s. I think it's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
kind of
Fangoria,
like Fangoria,
yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
says.
And it had Ninja Turtles 2 on the cover. So
Nice.
I was like, I have to have that to find out what they wrote about. And I expected to see some kind of fluff piece of like,
Mhm.
oh, the Turtles are coming back and, they love pizza and cowabunga and all that. And surprisingly, it's actually an interview with the screenwriter in the article. And he
Nice.
talks about stuff of how his draft for the he co-wrote the first movie, but the second movie he pretty much did all by himself. And he tried to fill the entire movie with everything from the comics, like all the different storylines with the Triceratons and all the space travel stuff. And then the director came and was like, "Yeah, we need to trim this down." But he consulted with Eastman and Laird on it, and it actually originally was the story about environmentalism, but by the time he was done writing it, all the creative people were like, "No, we don't want to be preachy, and this needs to be a fun movie." So like that's why they added more jokes and stuff into it. So that's why the movie seems more lighthearted and
Joe's doing the ninja rap Vanilla Ice dance.
And then also one of the things is like I always wondered like why is because in the comics the lab that develops the ooze is TCRI, but in the movie they made it TGRI, and in the article it says that they changed it because there's an actual TCRI lab in Los Angeles.
Really?
Or California, so they were like, we're required to change it. So, and then Gordon Perry is like an amalgamation of like two producers or something. I forget what it was, but like that character, they kept coming up with names for him, and then those actual names would show up in the phone book, so they had to keep changing it. So he's like, he molded two of his friends' names together or something.
Oh wow,
but yeah, it was
that
cool.
sounds like the worst way to ever write a script.
And at the end, he said he would never do another one.
Yeah,
But
feed too many cooks.
no, it's cool because I've never seen.
Yeah.
It's usually actors or directors, and this is an article for the screenwriter. So
Very cool.
yeah, so I think I forget which issue it is if you want to check it out, but it's obviously from '91 or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm trying to give it credit.
Nice.
So.
Cool. So this week, me and James usually do the Comic Corner, and not only do we have a brand new intro, but Brad has read comic books that he's going to contribute to Comic Corner. And that's so weird because Brad was usually burning comics. I don't get it. So
Yeah.
I don't burn comics.
I thought he was always like beating children who liked comics.
I know, right?
that
So
I do
weak.
do.
That is so weak. But anyways, Brad, tell everybody what comic books they should be picking up.
Sweet, I'm the star now.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
For my special comic book corner, after the Michael Uslan interview, I made it my mission to go find the comics he recommended.
You brought them with you. You know the
I
listeners
did.
can't see them, right?
I know, but you guys can see them, and you have a better reference of what I'm talking about if you can see them.
Oh, okay.
You won't just drift off as I talk about them. You'll have stuff to look at. Anyway, in the Michael Uslan interview, he talked about his favorite Batman comic of all time, which is Detective Comics number 439, called Night of the Stalker, and it's actually a 100-page DC comic, so it has other stories featuring the Atom, Hawkman, the all-new Manhunter, Dr. Fate, and Kid Eternity.
Huh.
Who I've never heard of. But
Dr. Fate's cool.
what's special about this Batman story in here is that the whole story does not have Batman saying a word. It's completely narrative, and then all the villains in the story are, have dialogue. So, but Batman himself, it's not even like in his head. It's just
He just shows up and squints at people until they feel guilty.
yeah. And actually, he shows up and goes into rage mode. Because what happens is he's out, checking out Gotham, making sure everything's okay, and then these, I think it was bank robbers, are escaping, and then this woman gets in one of the guy's way, and he just shoots her, and then the guy's like, "Dude, you weren't supposed to kill anybody," and then that girl's husband fights the other guy, and he gets shot, and so their kid is left orphaned, just like Bruce Wayne, and Batman gets really, really upset, and he hunts these guys down.
Nice.
So they make away in their getaway car, and the one guy who's like, "Dude, we weren't supposed to shoot anybody," he's really remorseful, but the other guy's like, "Whatever, she got in my way. I had to do what I got to do to escape." And so Batman chases them down. I think he jumps on the hood of the car and starts like tearing at the windshield, and then they like go out to the swamp, and he like one by one picks them off as they split up.
There's a swamp near Gotham.
Yes.
Whoa.
And there's also a cliff.
In the swamp, in the swamp, like they find a swamp cliff.
Yeah, it looks like a swampy area, yeah. But
wow.
Then there's a cliff, and then Batman's standing on the edge, and the one guy charges at him, and
He just olays him, and he goes off the cliff.
Does Batman just jump out of the way?
No, he latches onto the guy, but like in the side of the panel, like everyone, all the other bad guys see them fall off the cliff, like, "Oh my god, that guy just killed Batman and himself." But there's a branch hanging like below the cliff, so Batman just leaves the one guy on there, and then he goes off and stalks the other guys. Then the one guy who's remorseful, he captures him, but the guy's like, "Please don't. I feel really bad about what I did." And Batman's like, "Okay, well, I'll let you go." For the police, but like he doesn't beat the shit out of him. Like,
but you just said
the other
Batman
guys.
doesn't talk.
Huh?
You said Batman doesn't talk.
It's his expression on his face,
Yeah.
like and the way the guy responds to everything, and then
So do you remember why Michael Uslan said that's his favorite story?
Because Batman doesn't say anything.
And yeah, because he was talking in the interview that the reason, because he likes that kind of Batman, he likes the dark, scary Batman that stalks people in the shadows, and that's his interpretation of the character, and that's why it's his favorite one.
Cool.
And then at the end, he goes back to Wayne Manor and kind of cries because he's so sad that there's another parentless child in the world,
Nice.
and that he couldn't do more.
So would you say it's a great Batman story?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm confused. When he's crying, does he say, "I'm so sad there's another parentless child in the world"?
No, it's like the narrative.
Oh, because
like
he
the
never
narrators.
talks. That's right.
Yeah, talking
Okay.
about his feelings
Cool.
and stuff. So, and then I picked up the.
You are a meanie head.
I thought it was a funny joke.
I think I'm just gonna edit James out of the show entirely.
Haven't you been
James
doing that
is
for
silent,
months?
and we just provide narration for
For James. James
Don't
doesn't
do
think
that.
that last
Don't-
thing was very funny.
No, don't do that. No.
James started to talk about Damon Lindelof. And then the other books I got, which I actually thought was Night of the Stalker. I forgot that. I thought Night of the Stalker was the one Uslan wrote, but it was actually this other. Well, I don't want to spoil the interview story, but basically he, in a really cool way, he got a chance to write his own Batman comics. And he wrote one, and they liked it so much that he got to continue the story arc into 3. So I picked up Detective Comics number 460, 461, and 462. And I thought this was the story about the drugs in the barrels falling off Niagara Falls. That's the Spirit?
That's the Spirit. That's his first published comic book as a Spirit.
So that's the first one he got to do.
Yep.
But this is the first Batman
That's
one.
the first Batman.
And this one, it's not as fresh on my mind, but basically there's this guy, Captain Stingray.
No. Is that his name, or
Yeah.
is he a superhero and he's Captain Stingray?
No, he's just this bald guy with an eye patch.
Oh, okay.
And,
He's a captain, and his last name is Stingray.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's how you pronounce it. It's spelled like Sting, R-E-E. I don't know if it's like...
Stingray, that sounds
Yeah.
right to me.
Yeah, Stingray.
Stingray.
Anyway, so this Captain Stingery hosts a villains how to fight Batman class.
Nice.
Or how to perform crime class.
Oh no.
And he is that? Oh wait, that's a different story.
No,
My bad.
I want to hear that story. All right, go ahead.
Well, it's similar because it starts out with he's talking to a bunch of other criminals, like saying like, I know who Batman is, and I believe that he is 3 different people.
Okay.
So we have to track down these 3 different people. So he has this plot to.
Is one of the 3 people Bruce Wayne?
Should I spoil the book for everyone?
Well, if none of the 3 people are Bruce Wayne, then there is no conflict at all. So.
Well, yeah. So no.
Oh wow.
All 3 people are triplets, triplet actors, called who are the Courtneys.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of goofy. So Batman, as it goes along, like Stingery's hunts down each one of these different Batmen to collect them all and then expose them. But each time in each book he takes off the mask and it's like this Courtney, like their last name is Courtney. I forget the first names, everybody.
Yeah.
In the end, like Stingery they're actually quadruplets.
Oh, okay.
Stingery's like the evil brother.
Ah.
So
he's really just killing his brothers.
So at the end of each book, you think he's caught Batman, and it's actually really good at making you think, like, oh, well, that was supposed to be Batman. You know, why isn't it Batman? And oh, there's another Courtney brother, and they're triplets, and it's a lot of
detective work. Good thing it's in Detective Comics.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyway, and then by the end, you find out that Stingery is also a 4th Courtney brother, and he's just mentally ill.
Oh wow.
And yeah,
That's an interesting twist, though.
Does Batman punch him in the face?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh okay. He just like shows up.
They never explain why he's missing an eye, though.
Three issues in a row, this guy just like catches people who are Batman, and then they're not Batman, and then at the end, Batman just shows up and punches the dude in the face. That sounds like the best.
You guessed
story
right ever.
this
time, pal.
You want to meet Batman? Bam!
You guessed right this time, pal.
And then the other thing that's interesting is that for all the denouncing that Michael Eastland makes of the campy Batman 60s show, reading some of the transitions between scenes, like they have the narrator says, and then Batman moved on to the warehouse or whatever. It's got that campy narration to it.
That might have been more that he had to.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, no matter how...
He has a co-writer on it, so it may not be his influence, but...
When was it published?
1976, I think?
Yeah, that's
why.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're under so much scrutiny when you're there, and you have to appease.
When I saw them, they still got the comics code on them, like... That's
and the editors back then were probably scared.
Yeah, that is a period of time when comics were still very much for kids, and so they're going to have that kind of stuff in it. Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
And then the last one I got was I really wanted to find out what that Eraser story was in Batman. So luckily Mile High Comics gave me 50% off of it. And yeah, Batman and Robin fight a villain called the Eraser, and he is a guy who's wearing like a suit that looks like a pencil shaft and then an eraser head.
Yep.
What does he do? Does he erase things? Like when he rubs his head on stuff?
He erases the evidence of your crimes.
Whoa!
That's right.
That's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he is exactly like the wolf in Pulp Fiction.
No, there's always goofy villains. You know, they always have them. Spider-Man, his was 2003, maybe 2000, and his name was Typeface. A disgruntled writer who threw explosive letters.
I can't remember the name of this guy, but there's one in the Marvel Universe who he rides a scooter that flies on a rainbow, and he just steals stuff.
I don't remember that one, and I'm pretty well versed in Marvel characters.
He's in like one issue. If you go over to iFanboy, they've got an article somewhere where they've just got like really crummy villains, and he's one of them. Oh, it's so good.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if I was Christopher Nolan, like, the way you could actually make the Eraser a cool villain, like, you take away the stupid pencil costume, and you just make him a villain who, like, erases evidence of, like, your existence or...
You would just make him somebody who works at the police department and
or
goes through...
I think his name is Joseph Stalin. I don't... For history buffs out there.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Enlighten me, because I have no idea what you're talking
Joseph
about.
Stalin, if he did not like you, he would murder you, and then he'd erase you from history. So he would have photos doctored with you. If you were in them, he'd take you out of the photos.
There you go. I think that'd be a cool Batman character. The Eraser.
Stalin. Yeah, Stalin.
Well, there is a Batman comic from, like, I think it's number 18, where he does fight Hitler and Stalin.
Nice.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
Hitler always
been
deserves to
done.
get punched in the face. The more superheroes that do it, the better off the world is.
It's a universal truth. Like, everybody wants to punch Hitler in the face.
Do you think
Totally.
his family
Well-
changed their names after all
Oh,
that?
they all did. Most of the Hitlers in Germany changed their last names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a stigma about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, comic book corner for this week.
Nice.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Way to contribute, Brad. I'm proud of you.
Sorry it wasn't a Spider-Man book.
Yeah, we saw
That's
Spider-Man
okay.
this week. And
Well, it was going to be my week, and I was going to deliberately not pick a Spider-Man book because I was like, there's already too much Spider-Man.
There's never enough Spider-Man. Anyways, we're going to rename another part of our show, and Joe's going to provide us with a goofy voice for it. This is called Stuff We Have Been Watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
And I'm the host, so I get to go first. So I don't care what you guys say.
The name's so different this week.
It is.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I didn't watch stuff.
You did.
I guess I did watch stuff.
So I didn't watch too much because I saw Spider-Man so much this week. But there is a few things I watched that I took chances on. One was Newsroom, which James talked about last week.
Oh,
And it was really good. I really like Allison Pill in it. There's just I mean, it's Sorkin, so you're just enamored with the dialogue and
it's so quick and quick enough. Like I've rewatched that first episode maybe 4 times now, and there are still little things that he'll say that now I get. Like this time around, I go, oh, okay, that's what he's saying there.
yeah, I think it's really good. I don't think it's as good as James said it was. I mean, it's okay for me. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah,
If I had HBO, I'd probably keep on watching it, but I don't, so whatever.
absolutely.
I also have never seen an episode of True Blood, and
Oh.
while I was in Nebraska, I don't know what it has. What season is on? 6, 5?
5.
So I'm guessing it's from season 5,
Yeah.
and I watched it because there's nothing else to do in Nebraska, and I had no idea what was going on. I thought it was like a serious vampire show where they were dealing with vampires in society and they feasted on people, and no.
Well, that's where it started. Yeah.
Sookie is her name, correct?
Yeah.
And she has some powers where she can shoot light out of her hand.
Yep.
And she was talking to this vampire mistress. I run a bar lady who's
Yeah.
Kristen Bauer's character.
Yep.
And she shot her across the room.
Yep.
And then there's a little kid vampire who
Yeah.
yells at people. I don't know what's going on in the show. And then
Here's
there's
the-
this one black girl who has turned into a vampire, and
Yep.
she's drinking
I think
True
I watched
Blood.
the same episode
What-
as
what-
you,
what-
and I have
what is True
no
Blood? Is
idea
True Blood
what was
like a
happening.
thing?
True Blood
Is
is
it
True Blood is like
beer?
Sobe, but it's for vampires.
It's a synthetic blood, so
Okay.
they don't have to feast on humans all the time.
Yeah, the premise of the show is that this company came out with a synthetic blood, and that allowed vampires to like reveal themselves to the world because now they can just drink True Blood instead of drinking people, which meant that they're not monsters anymore. They're so that's how it started, and it was really good, or good enough. And they've gone way off the rails, and
Yeah,
now there's lightning shooting and characters just randomly get turned into vampires now, and I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, it's like the show is trying to be. I don't know if it's trying to be campy or be a drama, but the drama comes off extremely campy.
I think the problem is that the writers don't know that.
Yeah, because I mean, then there was a part where there was a police officer and his butt was on Facebook. And
right. I don't know what that's about.
I've never seen an episode, so maybe watching the 60th episode of it's not a good start. But
No.
You gotta start somewhere, and it really didn't catch your attention.
here's
I
the
want to
thing.
go back and do it. Though.
no.
Like sometimes there's great stories, like that cop that you saw. There was there was a story a couple seasons ago where because vampire's blood, if a human ingests it, is sort of like a drug. And so that guy got addicted to that stuff, and that was an interesting story. But then they'll go crazy, and then there's fairy. Because the thing is, Sookie, fairy. She's a fairy.
So do you still watch it?
Here's the thing.
Is this your Two Broke Girls of HBO?
No, I've been watching it because honestly, like season 2, I adored. Like season 2 is so cool, and the ending is amazing. But season 3 is garbage, just awful. and I've been, stealing them illegally off the internet. Find a better way to say that. I don't know.
Children do not steal things off the internet.
And I downloaded this week's episode, and it's just sitting on my computer, and I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I think I'm done. Because I don't care anymore. Like, yeah, they turned one of the characters into a vampire, and it's just nonsense.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on in the show. I don't. And even if I come into a show, if I came into 24, even though I've seen them all, because I'll tell you, the first time I saw 24 was season 4, the first episode where Jack Bauer goes in and they're interrogating that one guy and they're not getting where, and he shoots him in the leg.
Is that when LA blows up?
No.
Okay.
He shoots him in the leg, and he starts yelling at him. And then he gets his information, and he says, "That's how you do an interrogation." I'm like, I can get into this show.
Yeah.
And I've never seen an episode before.
Well, and that's because the rules of that show are very clear.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get the appeal. And
No, I tried. I was the same way. I watched Newsroom, was really, really into that, and then I decided, hey, I'll stick around.
Maybe
and
we
see
were watching HBO at the same time. Did you watch Ricky Gervais' show after that? I watched a Ricky Gervais show after that, and it's pretty funny.
I watched that too.
Ricky Gervais show is great.
Yeah, I like that show. But yeah, I really, there was nothing, I could not follow what was happening. I kept thinking, how long are they going to be able to keep a kid vampire, looking the same? And I don't know.
It'll be
show,
like on Lost.
That show has turned into something that people watch just because it's got like pretty people on it. Is my understanding from every time I meet somebody who really likes
Yeah, because
that
it
show.
seems that they just go for shock value.
But
Where
none of it's shocking. I don't think.
I mean, I don't know. From what I've heard of it, I'll probably never watch another episode.
I'm
But the
alright.
Ricky Gervais show is pretty funny. They're interviewing this one guy on the show, and he was talking about how if he went to war and he came back, and I won't describe it. It was really funny though.
It's Carl Pilkington. They talk to him every episode. He's amazing because he's a moron.
And it's animated, so it's really funny. It's like Crank. I mean, what was that? Shorty watching Shorties
Yeah.
a while ago, but better animated and
Yeah.
more fun. I also the last thing I watched was Hot Rod with Andy
wow.
Samberg.
Cool beans.
And I don't know how I feel about the movie. I was laughing a lot at parts.
Had you
but
ever seen it before?
No.
I've never seen it.
And it's okay, so I'll set up the premise for it because you have to get the premise to understand why it's so weird. He plays a guy who his dad was a stuntman with Evel Knievel, and his dad dies in a stunt, and so he wants to be a stuntman on a moped. And his stepfather is Ian McShane, and and all he wants to do is beat up Ian McShane so he can earn his respect.
What?
Yeah, he wants to beat up his stepdad to earn his respect.
Who wants to beat up Ian McShane? I just want to hug him.
Well, in this one, he's a tough guy.
Oh, okay.
And so he goes to beat up his stepdad, and it turns out that his stepdad is dying of cancer or no heart something, and he needs to get a heart transplant.
Aww.
And so he needs $50,000 for it, and so he's going to do a stunt to raise $50,000 for his stepdad's heart transplant.
So, he's
So that
alive
he can
long
go
enough
back
so he
and
can beat
fight
him
him.
up.
So he can go back and fight him and earn his respect. That is
he
the
wants
whole.
to save his life so that he could beat him
That's
up
the
later.
whole premise of the movie.
All right, I can respect that.
And there's so many like weird parts, but so funny. The part that I could not stop laughing at is he gets so mad at one point that he walks out into the woods and he starts like punching in the air and dancing, and it's playing kind of like a Rocky kind of theme music,
Yeah.
and it's so bizarre. But
It's even got like cool lighting and
Yeah,
stuff.
it has,
that,
like, cool
80s
lighting and
it's got that 80s like Eye of the Tiger effect.
so I
to
think
it.
I'm going to watch it again because I don't think I got it all the time, even though I watch those kind of movies
Yeah.
religiously. And it was funny, and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
it's stupid fun.
It's one
It's-
of those movies that people have told me to watch, but I never believe them.
Yeah, you should watch. I think it's streaming for free on Amazon Prime. That's where
Okay.
I watched it. So, I mean, it's funny, and you'll laugh at some parts. I mean, it's not like the best movie, but,
Okay, cool.
you know.
The fact that you said it's not like the best movie makes me maybe believe you.
And,
unlike all the other people before you who
Chris-
said, it's the best movie.
Chris Parnell plays an AM radio announcer, and he has a really funny part in it
Oh, wow.
where he says that the AM radio is bound to make a comeback, and he has a tattoo of Calvin peeing on a TV and then peeing on an FM radio station, and then the AM radio station on his chest is completely fine. And since we're doing a kid version of the show, I won't explain why he's peeing in two different directions at the same time. But yeah, so yeah, Hot Rod is all right. I'll probably watch it again just see if I miss any jokes.
Yeah.
Cool, James. What stuff have you been watching?
What stuff have I been watching? Well, honestly, it's been a long time since we recorded, so there's a lot of stuff, so I'm going to zoom through some. I rewatched Batman Begins because I'm getting ready.
I did too.
Yeah. And man, that movie's good.
It is great.
Spoilers for that movie, but it's good.
Did I talk about that last episode? I did, yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Well, this time I watched it, and what I didn't know was that the guy who plays Prince Joffrey from Game of Thrones is in that movie, and because of Game of Thrones, I saw him, and now I hate that little kid, and I kind of want Zaz to stab him in the face. Which other thing I realized was Zaz is in that movie, which
Yeah.
I didn't know Zaz until I played Arkham Asylum, and then I watched that movie, and I was like, holy crap! It's so subtle.
Yeah, it's like
It's
one of
a-
the best Batman villain.
Yeah,
like cameos,
cameo.
yeah.
I guess cameo.
'Cause
Yeah.
he's just there just to add a little bit of cred into a movie that
That's not true. He's in two parts of the movie. He's in the beginning
Yeah.
and the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
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 So-
He makes an appearance at the end when they're all breaking out, and at the very beginning too.
Yeah.
Or not the very beginning, kind of in the middle.
Well, when you're meeting what's her name?
Crane.
Well, yeah.
We should try and track that guy down and get him in for an interview because he's like the most understated Batman.
Villain.
Like the
Do you mean Zaz or the guy who plays Zaz?
guy. Yeah, let's contact
Let's
Zaz
find
for
Zaz
an interview.
himself. Yeah.
This guy. This guy.
This guy.
His comic book's not talking back to me. I don't understand what's going on.
Hey Zaz, I'm trying to do an interview. Would you please stop stabbing me in the face? Yeah, so I watched Batman Begins. It's great. Louis and Wilfred have both come back to FX. Wilfred is good. Louis is amazing. But honestly, the first two episodes I'm a little bit down on just because they're kind of depressing. Joe, I know you're watching it. Have you seen the second episode yet?
I think I saw the second one. I watched that one last night.
Yeah, well, because of where they leave us at the end of season 2, like he's dating a lot,
Uh-huh.
and then the first two episodes have been about that, and they're heavy, dark episodes.
I know my wife.
which are almost understated by the really great opening monologues he gives about his kids, which are really like kind of heartwarming and great. Like the second episode starts with a story that I've heard him tell before about the kinds of jokes that his daughter tells, and that's really fun. But then it goes into this really horrible story about him going on this blind date, and it's just honestly, I don't want to ever see that episode again. It's so bad. But I can't
Just
help. The show is
uncomfortably
just
bad, yeah.
exactly.
And my
the
wife,
show
I
is
think,
just
was at a
amazing.
part like looking at me like,
No,
"What the heck
I
is
know.
going on right now?"
it is amazing and a testament to FX that they will let him do that on television. And all of that is to say, if you've never watched Louie, you should go check this show
watch
out.
Louie.
Especially if you start not on this episode. But I'm glad to have those shows back. I had a free ticket to see a movie at a Regal movie theater place for showing films. So I went and saw.
Thank you. He explained that to you. He explained it to Brad. Like Brad didn't know what a theater was.
Whoa. There's a building you can go to, and they show movies at it.
it is. Yeah, they torrent.
Why are we here right now?
What they do
Let's
is
go
they
do this.
They torrent the movie for you and then project it on a wall. It's crazy. I know. I know.
So
Is this
funny.
the 23rd century? What's going on here?
He explained that to you like you were.
I know.
Didn't know what a movie there was. It's a place where you go and watch movies.
Thanks, butthead.
And so I went and saw Prometheus again, which after having a conversation with somebody the other day, I've decided I just can't talk about Prometheus with people anymore. But I wrote an article on the site about sort of just me breaking down how I feel
Which
about
was
that
good,
movie.
by the
and-
way.
Thank you. And explaining how I think things are working in that movie. Because, there are a lot of questions, but I think it's a movie where a lot of the answers are buried inside, and if you take a while to dig through it, it's pretty rewarding. But anyway, that movie is still good, so shut up.
And where do they show these at again?
movie theater, like
No,
film,
don't
film
tell me.
venues.
Tell Brad.
Yeah, it's like an edifice for picture viewing.
Whoa. Slow down, egghead.
Take your notes, Brad.
I also I went with Mick and RJ last Sunday or so to go see Safety Not Guaranteed, which Brad has talked about before, and I really liked it. It's the main character is played by Mark Duplass, who's one of the Duplass brothers, obviously, and they are like directors and writers themselves. And that character is great. Like I was so impressed with him and how like quirky and weird he is.
He's like Dwight Schrute, right?
He is. Yeah, you're right. He is very much a Dwight Schrutian
Who's
kind
not
of a
evil.
character. Yeah, exactly. But he walks that fine line between you not knowing whether or not he's crazy or just disturbed. He walks that line very well. And And I will say, though, we can't talk about it because it would be spoilers. But Brad, you said you really didn't like where it goes at the end of the movie, and I can't imagine it going anywhere else. Like that is
Really?
exactly the ending I wanted. Yeah,
Okay. No, I didn't say I didn't like it. I just
you didn't expect it to go there.
I didn't expect to go there, and I don't know if I was doing that movie, I would go there. So,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but it's not terrible.
It
so.
happened, yeah. As it was happening, like honestly, I was terrified because what was actually happening was exactly what I expected. So, because of your review, I kept thinking like, "Oh no, they're gonna mess this up. Something bad's gonna happen. Like all the characters' faces are gonna melt off or something." Like
That's something cool happening.
yeah, yeah. But I really liked it, and if it's showing anywhere near you, I think take the time and go see it because it's also strangely short. Like I got out and I was like, "How did?"
Yeah.
Because it's not the kind of movie that you laugh out loud at. It's just a movie that is always enjoyable. You know, you're just sort of smiling the whole time, and you like the characters. So,
And
yeah, go check it out.
I was just thinking about it now. The guy who leads the journalists, his story doesn't quite get fully resolved, I don't think.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It kind of, like, there's kind of a climax, but it doesn't really, his character doesn't go anywhere after that. He doesn't learn anything.
Yeah, you don't know if the end of the movie for the main characters really affects him, you
Yeah.
know, in a positive way or not. But
But you said you went and saw it with these guys?
yeah,
So what do you guys think of Safety Not Guaranteed?
It was good. Yeah, that's about all I gotta say.
yeah.
Concise and to the point.
Yeah. See, you don't need an hour and a half long podcast.
I don't know how you guys are so verbose. Sorry, Brad.
More work for me.
Brad, what'd you see this week?
I again watched more Batman the Animated Series. I'm still on Volume 3.
I'm on Volume 3 now too.
Me
because
too.
I got it at Best Buy.
Yeah, we did.
They've got a deal now where you can get it for $15, and it also comes with $5 coupon.
And it'll
to
probably
see
be expired
Dark Knight
by the
Rises.
time you hear this episode, so
Oh well,
completely
maybe.
irrelevant information.
Do you really think you don't think it's going to run until Dark Knight Rises?
Oh, I bet
comes
it
out?
runs for a while.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
guess
bet
maybe,
it'll
you're
go until
right.
the movie releases.
Because there's
yeah.
so many.
They're doing all those
yeah.
Batman sets.
Yeah, and you can order it online at that price. So just do
Yeah.
that.
Not a whole lot to. There's one episode. I'm on the first disc. There's a lot of, like in the Volume 2 teased a Ra's al Ghul star or Ra's al Ghul star. In
Yeah.
that series, they call him Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah,
I don't know
they
why.
do
It's
that.
really
They
weird.
do that in Arkham Asylum too. In Arkham City, they call him Ra's al
Ra's-
Ghul.
Yeah.
And then
it throws me off.
but then in Batman Begins, they call him Ra's al Ghul. So I don't know.
What happened there?
Yeah, I
Should
don't
have
know.
asked Michael Uslan.
yeah.
He would know.
Yeah.
Darn it.
Instead of one of our important questions, here's this one about pronunciation.
Hey, Michael, when you were working with Christopher Nolan, like, what was his thinking behind calling him Ra's al Ghul?
But see, I
Get out
always
of my way,
thought
kid. You bother me.
I always thought it was Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
I never thought it was Raish,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
that's how Kevin Conroy thinks it is. So
But yeah, in the Volume 2, they tease this. There's this villain called Vertigo, and he has this eye patch that makes everyone sick if they're like staying in the vicinity.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And Talia is like
She shows up.
his sidekick throughout Batman's sidekick throughout that episode, and they
Yeah.
beat up Vertigo, and then it teases like Ra's al Ghul, and then in the first disc of the next volume is where Batman ends up
Like,
going on a quest with, I think it's a two-parter actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, with Ra's al Ghul and his sidekick, and then Talia too, which is cool. That whole story arc, like reviving the dying Ra's al Ghul and
Yeah.
the Lazarus Pit, caught giving you madness and stuff, and all the like little like globe trotting through all the different puzzles and stuff is cool.
Plus, he's got a sidekick named Dub Dub.
Yeah, who always, whenever Batman's disrespectful, kicks the crap out of him,
Yeah.
which is really funny because eventually Batman starts feigning respect.
Yeah.
So he'll be like, "Right after you, sir," like letting Ra's al Ghul walk ahead of him.
Yeah. It's a good one.
And then the other cool episode from that disc is it's called Trial, and there's the new DA doesn't approve of Batman's antics, and it's her goal to get Batman out of Gotham. And then there's a prison break within Arkham. Like the villains don't escape; they just
They just
capture
take over
Batman,
part of Arkham. Yeah.
take over Arkham, and then capture Batman and the DA. And the DA has to defend Batman of why they should let Batman go. And so she kind of has to turn against her own opinion and save Batman. And it's really cool when Batman escapes. Like, the room goes dark, and he starts picking off all the villains one by one. Like, he takes out Harley Quinn first, and then like she's dangling from the ceiling, and then Joker's like firing into the crowd, and it's like barely missing her. He's like, "Sorry, pumpkin."
Puddin', you almost hit me there.
Yeah.
That disc also has the episode where Batman is a robot, and Alfred's like, "Wait, you're not Batman, you're a robot." And then Batman's like, "That's not Batman, that's a robot."
Yeah, the sequel
That's
to the
an
Hard
episode.
Act story. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the robot thinks he is Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I fell asleep, so I don't know how it ends.
But anyway, yeah, good stuff again. Didn't
Yeah.
want to spend too much time on that, actually. But and then I also saw, I've been watching more season 3 of 24 with my mom.
Nice.
And right now we're at the point where Nina re-shows up
Oh, I love
and screws up Jack Bauer's deal. And the scene at the end of the episode where Jack Bauer is preaching, like fighting to say, like giving this speech to save his life because the Salazars are going to kill him for screwing up the deal. And it's just like Kiefer Sutherland acting at that point, trying to convince, like, because logically there's really no reason for Jack Bauer to survive at this point.
No.
Like, the Salazars could probably get the deal to go through without him in some fashion, but
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland's amazing in that show.
yeah, like, it's a good scene.
It is.
He convinces them to let him live because, yeah. And then just drew a blank on the other thing I watched. I saw Moonrise Kingdom again. Which,
Still good?
Yeah, I still don't see where you don't feel like the kids are doing justice to the Wes Anderson dialogue. So
Yeah. I just
I
think
don't know what to say.
yeah.
Oh well, but it was delightful again. Have you?
I
gotta-
still haven't seen it.
Oh,
we got to get
man.
around to see it so that
I have worked 17 days in a row now, so I
Ooh.
haven't really had time to go do that.
That's okay.
Joe, have you seen Moonrise Kingdom?
That's
a
a
no.
no.
So
That is a no.
someday we'll get an Equalizer in here.
Yeah.
Someday.
It's not like I hated the movie.
Right. I just yeah.
You need a balanced opinion, I think.
And then the last thing I saw was a movie called A Cat in Paris, which is an animated film
About a cat in Paris.
about a cat in Paris. It's I guess it's an Academy Award-winning short from last year. Short film?
Okay. They turned it into a full movie though?
No, it's
Or is it still just a short?
I think it's like an hour long, maybe an hour and
I think if it's
10
less
minutes.
than shoot, now I can't remember. I think if it's less than 75 minutes.
or maybe it was like an
qualifies.
Academy Award nominated animated feature. No, it won something. We really should do our homework.
You should. I don't know what you're
what's
talking
this
about.
we, white man?
My bad. I was busy.
That was a racist thing I just said, but I'm sorry.
Anyway, the art is really the art design. The movie's kind of like a whole bunch of animated paintings. If you ever seen like artwork for jazz musicians from the 90s
Yeah.
with that pastel drawing like style,
Oh yeah.
that's what most of the movie looks like.
Like the drawings on the wall of a Popeyes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Everybody in the room went, "Oh yeah."
I love Popeyes. Popeyes should sponsor our show. And they can pay me in free Popeyes chicken.
First they'd have to build one close enough to my house I could eat it.
Anyway, the art is very beautiful.
Yeah.
The story though is very simplistic. It's basically there's this woman who's a cop, and her husband was a cop, and he got killed on the job, and now she is stuck trying to solve that case, and now her daughter's mute because she's traumatized from not having a dad, and so she kind of communicates through this cat who moonlights as this thief's sidekick, and being
A
just
cat
a regular
burglar.
cat burglar.
Brad just said that to me. He was like, "Yeah, nice one, Ryan. That's a stupid joke." He's like, "Yeah, cat burglar." What you couldn't see on the radio
Thanks
is
for
he
upstaging me.
he swooped his hand across. It's like, wow, obvious.
And basically, as the cat's committing these burglaries with this thief, they get in the way of this crime syndicate who are responsible for killing that woman's husband. And eventually, it turns into this whole big chase scene throughout the rest of the movie of trying to. Also, the nanny who's taking care of the kid is part of the crime syndicate, so she's infiltrated the cop woman's home, and
Is this movie in French?
no, it was in English.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it might have been in French, but the copy I saw it was dubbed with English
okay.
voices. So,
Cool.
Yeah, it's
Shows where people see it.
just for the art. I don't like the whole. There's also like this totem story. So the end,
Like from the Brady Bunch movie?
what?
Sorry, that was a deep cut.
Wow,
yeah, go ahead.
Like
He did not just do the Brady Bunch movie.
the crime boss is after this special artifact.
Yeah.
And it comes to life at the end and terrorizes Paris, and then it ends up it's only in his head as he plummets to his death. It's really bizarre.
What?
Yeah. So if
Wow.
you're confused about what I just said,
Yeah.
go check out A Cat in Paris.
Oh man,
Um,
that's not how the Brady Bunch movie ends at all.
The Eiffel Tower, it is falling.
actually, the climax is at the
Champs-Élysées.
Notre
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place in real life.
Were you about to say Notre Dame just because you wanted it to be in French?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Yeah, I didn't. James is in a different world today, man.
I am. No, I am.
And before I drag the podcast down even further, I'm going to hand it off to Joe. Joe, what stuff have you been watching?
I happened to see Seeking a Friend for the End of the World.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did
How
you guys
is
see
that?
that one yet?
No. Oh yeah, Brett saw it.
I thought it was going to be funnier than it was. I don't know, just Steve Carell. It's a crapshoot. He's either going to do something horribly depressing or he's going to do something really funny. And
But it's more of like a love story,
yeah,
like romantic movie.
but damn depressing the whole way through. I mean, there's some
Oh.
really good jokes and there's some really good feeling to it, but I mean, like I left there feeling pretty depressed at the end of it. But it stuck with me
Wow.
well enough to that I keep thinking about it. So
There you
that's
Do you
go.
sit there the whole time thinking about like what you would do
Oh, yeah.
if there's an asteroid plummeting towards the Earth?
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's really funny parts too, like especially in the beginning where the adults are partying and they're like feeding kids alcohol, and then they're like, "Yeah, let's do heroin," and everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm game, let's do it." And
Yeah, like they do it every week.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, there was a lot of a lot to leave you thinking about at the end of it. So I think I like it more now than I did after I walked out of the theater.
Yeah.
I think I was just way depressed.
I
at
have
the
a free
end of it.
ticket. I might have to go see that one.
I have a free ticket too.
We could see it
Keira
together.
Knightley's adorable
could.
in it.
I'm always up for adorable.
There you go.
Cool.
And yeah, I mean that's that and Spider-Man. That's what I saw.
Nice.
So
So before we get into our review of Spider-Man, this week our interview is two young men who sat down with us. They're the youngest people we interviewed at Comic-Con. And when I sat down and talked to them, I was surprised to find out how well they knew Spider-Man and that their favorite video game was Mortal Kombat. Those are my two favorite things, too. So I'm not going to name their actual names. I'm going to name their superhero alter ego. This is the Spectacular Spider Kids. And what's your name, bud?
Luke Lawson.
Luke Lawson. And what's yours name?
Emery Bridgman.
Yeah? Did you young ladies want to be on as well? No?
Come on. You guys can sit over here.
Awesome. So what are you guys doing at Comic-Con?
Pretty much just searching around. We're coming back tomorrow, doing a lot of.
Coming back tomorrow for more stuff. We got a couple posters and autographs and stuff here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what kind of autographs are you looking to get?
From like 3 shows and comic books that we really like. Just from the comic book series that I am really into.
What comic book series are you really into?
I'm into a lot of Spider-Man stuff. Batman.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, Spider-Man, Batman, and Deadpool is
Awesome.
really the main 3 things.
Look what I'm wearing. Spider-Man's my favorite.
Sweet.
Do you have a favorite Spider-Man villain that he fights? Who's your favorite bad guy?
I like Carnage.
Carnage?
Yeah.
Carnage is the
Really?
best. Yes.
Yeah.
That guy's crazy.
Yeah, that's why.
Yep.
Yeah? You guys like him because he's crazy?
No.
I just think he's awesome. I mean,
Yeah?
like, sort of like.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think he's awesome.
Yeah.
I like his face. I like how he just always has that evil look to him.
He is. He's pretty evil.
I like how.
But he murders people.
I like
Yeah.
how he's Venom's like offspring.
Yeah, you know a lot about Carnage. Do you know what's his real name?
Cassidy.
Wow. Do you know what's happened to him recently? Do you know what happened to him with the Sentry?
No.
He flew him up into space and he ripped him in half.
Cool.
Cool. That's your favorite guy, and he's now in space, floating around.
He always finds a way out of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, the symbiote will always find a way, won't it?
Yes.
Yes, like whatever TV shows you watch, like Tom and Jerry, it's
Yeah.
not done till the next episode.
That's right. So, are you a big Tom and Jerry fan?
No.
No, you just know that if anything happens to Tom or Jerry, they're back the next episode. Yeah. You know, that's a great thing about comic books, too, is do the characters ever really stay away?
No, like they could die in one series and come back in a whole.
Exactly. Or it could be somebody else, you know?
Like the Shocker and like whatever the Deadpool Titanic one where she's that person.
If you're gonna give something away, don't.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
you guys are fine. My favorite character is the Green Goblin.
He's awesome.
He died a long time ago, and then he came back like 400 issues later, and he's really evil.
Isn't like his son doing?
His
Green
son,
Goblin
his son did become the Green Goblin. Wow, you guys are really knowledgeable Spider-Man. How old are you?
10.
And how old are you?
10.
Wow, how do you guys know so much about Spider-Man? You just love Spidey?
I read lots of comics, watch lots of movies, and play lots of video games.
Yeah, we pretty much play video games, watch TV. When we were younger, we pretty much, you know, the
When
old
you're
ones that
younger,
used to-
so how young were you when you were doing this?
Like 4 years old when we were like having our parents read us the old the ones that came in the mail.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So what's your favorite movie then?
My favorite movie, wait, are we still on Spider-Man topic here?
Yeah, whatever you want. If you want to be on Spider-Man topic, you can be on Spider-Man.
My favorite movie, like right now, out of everything,
Yeah, sure.
it would probably be it'd actually probably be the second Spider-Man movie.
The second Spider-Man movie? That's that's awesome. I think the second Spider-Man movie has one of the greatest action scenes of all time in it.
Yeah, no kidding.
When he's fighting Doc Ock on the subway. I love that part.
And he's trying to save the train and
Oh,
stop him
yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah,
And then
that's
they-
amazing.
And then, well, I don't want to give anything away. So.
Oh, it's all right. You know what? Everybody's seen it. You can say whatever you want on this podcast.
Okay, like, I mean, I like that scene because it has like a bunch of different things going on at once. He's trying to stop the train.
Mhm.
He's getting really beat up. He's trying to
Yeah.
stop the tentacles. Trying to get the sense back into Octavius.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot going on, doesn't he?
And it's kind of cool because they finally like realize who he is, and and he's a little worried for the rest of the movie because there's a bunch of people knowing who he is.
It's really cool because Spider-Man risked his life to save everybody's life on that train, and that's why Spider-Man is such a great hero because he's really selfless. I mean, he'll risk his life for everybody else, and that's why he's my favorite because I love Spider-Man. And what other comic books do you? You said Deadpool.
Yeah.
You like Deadpool?
Yeah.
He's kind of funny, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's always talking so much.
I mean, you think he's just really funny. Then he takes off the mask, and you think of him kind of having a low voice.
Yeah.
And then he puts it back on, and he seems like kind of the opposite of serious.
Yeah, it's really goofy. There's a really funny comic with him and Spider-Man where they're both like arguing back and forth, and they say, "Hey, do you ever be quiet?" And then Deadpool says, "Do you ever shut up?" And it's really funny because they both kind of like to talk while they're fighting. So it's a good one. I forget what issue it is. It's pretty recent.
Yeah.
We're pretty much up here for. We're looking at a lot of costumes. We're going around. We didn't expect to see like a lot of people dressing in like gamer stuff, like how people were dressing as Enzio and all that.
I know, it's pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah.
So you guys also said you play video games?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite video game?
Well, together, we ever played a video game. When we're just staying up. It's like 3 in the morning and we have nothing else to play. We're playing Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat? Are you guys serious? That's my favorite video game of all time.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not even joking. Who's your favorite character in Mortal Kombat?
Sub-Zero.
Scorpion.
Sub-Zero and Scorpion. That's like enemies, bitter enemies.
Yeah, we know.
So, my favorite's Kung Lao.
Well, it's never fair. He just
with the hat.
He
Yeah.
pauses the game all the time and looks at the blue.
Oh, you have to. You want to do fatalities, right?
No,
Yeah, I love that
while
toasty
we're playing,
thing. Yeah.
No, well, he has like this much, and life left, while he has like no life left, and I have a full board. He looks at all of his moves and then comes back to beat me.
He really sucks against me.
Does he?
And he's actually pretty good in general, and
It's not my fault. I don't look at the movies. I'm trying to be fair.
Yeah, I love Kung Lao and Raiden. Those are my two best guys I have.
yeah, Kung Lao and Raiden are really cool.
Yeah, Kung Lao's really fast. Raiden's a little more tactical.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the
You
you
should have
gotta like.
seen.
Yeah.
We were playing DS versus each other on it coming up here. You should have seen. He's like, I hate Jade. And he's just getting killed by her. He's like, she's so fast. And then she like.
The only
Yeah.
person that I cannot beat is Jade.
Really?
Yes,
I'll let you guys in
and
on a
Sindel.
secret.
Jade and Sindel.
If I tell you a secret, will you not tell anybody?
Well, I think
Well,
we're about
maybe.
to tell
Going
people.
on this.
Yeah. It's going on the podcast. But you know who I'm really good with that I don't tell people? Sonya Blade.
Oh,
One time when I was
She's
playing,
awesome.
I beat the whole game without losing a round or continuing.
Sonya Blade's awesome.
She is. She's really good.
she is really good. I just cannot. I have a very, very old one that I got from going to like. There used to be an old arcade back in the Springs called Nickel Play, and I played there. Like I was a usual there, and the day they were closing the guy because I had been saving up for it, gave me the Mortal Kombat game.
Oh, nice.
And it really doesn't have any moves list or anything, so you epically fail.
Yeah, you can, for sure. Well, thanks for talking to me, guys. Is there anything else you want to talk about while we're here?
Well, pretty much. We're in and we're out.
You're in and you're out. I love it. Thanks, buddy. It's nice meeting you guys.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Have a nice day. Welcome back. Those kids are awesome.
Oh man, they
That
are
was a
so
lot of fun.
adorable.
So thanks
We're
for stopping
in and
by,
we're
guys. Dude, they literally had a sign off. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. How awesome is that?
If
And
it
then
weren't for
they-
the fact that radio is dying, we could say they're going to be radio DJs one day.
And I also want to thank their mother because not only does she let them play mature rated games because they know the difference between right and wrong and reality and not reality, is they didn't want to spoil movies because they knew that spoiling movies is bad. And so that's a cool thing that they...
Which means that they will never grow up and take pictures in a movie theater.
Exactly. Wow, you just stole his joke. He was going to say the same thing. And with that, we'll talk about that when we review the movie we saw this week. And the movie we saw this week was The Amazing Spider-Man. I saw it 3 times, and I think everybody should go see this movie because it was awesome. James, should people go see The Amazing Spider-Man?
Oh, absolutely. If you love Spider-Man, if you like superhero movies, you just got to go see this. It's great.
Joe, should people go see The Amazing Spider-Man?
I think it was really fun. Yeah, I definitely think people should go see it.
Brad?
I just thought it was good.
There's always one guy. Always one
just
guy.
thought it was
Sorry.
good.
No,
Sorry,
whatever,
guys.
whatever. Mick and RJ, should people go see The Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Brad. I just thought it was good. Yeah, it was good. I'd go see it.
The men.
I would go see it. I already did.
Yeah,
So-
not alone. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man.
This life is not an easy one. I've made enemies. Powerful enemies. I've put those I love in danger. But the one thing that has haunted me my entire life is finding the truth about my parents.
You're a wanted man, Peter Parker.
You don't believe what the police are saying, do you?
My dad has 500 officers looking for you.
500? That seems a bit excessive. You know, if you're gonna steal cars, don't dress like a car thief. You found my weakness. It's small knives. Who are you?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Parker. What did your father do, Peter?
I never really knew my father. My parents left when I was very young.
Peter, someday you'll understand.
Did you tell the boy about his father?
Dr. Connors, I'm Richard Parker's son.
If you want the truth about your parents, Peter, come and get it. Ready to play God?
There's been a biological attack on New York City.
Peter, secrets have a cost.
I gotta stop him.
Do you think what happened to you, Peter, was an accident? Do you have any idea what you really are?
Wow, what an amazing trailer for Amazing Spider-Man.
Thank you, Joe. My biggest
Oh.
concern going into this movie was how much they were going to tweak his origin and how long they were going to spend
Yeah.
on it. Evidently, the whole movie. But the one thing that always worried me was, do they really need to tell the story again?
Yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
so well known. Everybody knows that Spider-Man gains these powers, and he doesn't use them for good. He uses them for his own personal gain, which they never exploited in this movie at all.
No.
They really told a different story. And I don't mind that thing in comic book stuff as much, as long as a character stays true to what it is. I was really concerned before the movie came out that, of course, spoilers, guys, we're in spoilers. Uncle Ben, if he was going to be murdered, because that's such an iconic part of who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
And especially because they got someone like Martin Sheen to play Uncle Ben, where he's a bigger actor playing Uncle Ben. I'm always concerned that they were going to tweak it enough where maybe he doesn't die, but Spider-Man,
Yeah,
I don't know. I
Without
don't even know where I'd go.
that, Peter Parker doesn't have the motivation.
He doesn't.
And in fact, the part of why I really like that they retell it is that in this one, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movie, he dies because Peter is off earning money. As he's gotten these powers and he's doing the wrestling, which is sort of the origin of Spider-Man, and that's part of. Like he lies because that's where he's going, what he's going to do, and that in turn leads to Uncle Ben dying. In this one, it's simply Peter Parker's choices that end up leading to Ben dying. So this is really more of a movie about Peter Parker and Peter Parker's motivations to be a better person, and then he also has superpowers. Instead of it being Spider-Man's motivations are because his uncle died.
I agree. And what's so cool about this movie is he learned his great power and great responsibility a different way.
Yeah.
In the other ones, it's because he let a burglar go, and that what led to Uncle Ben being shot. In this one, Uncle Ben shot because he's trying to stop the burglar, not because he was in the wrong place. Well, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but more so that it was actually Uncle Ben who
He was
got him
trying to do the right thing.
doing the right
Yeah.
thing, which he said to him. And you're right. There's a part of you that's scared, but when he came upstairs with the box of trophies, then you knew right away. You're like, oh, this is Uncle Ben.
No. I was terrified that they were casting like a big actress or a big actor, and the truth is for Sally Field too, that they were casting these big actors in these small roles that I was never gonna not see the big actor.
Mhm.
And the truth is, as soon as Martin Sheen walks in and he's got that box and he's funny and likable, it all went away. There are still a couple moments where he sounds like the elusive man to me, but that's just because I can't help it.
Yeah, there's a couple complaints I do have about it, and they're not really that big because I think overall the movie was really great.
Yeah.
I thought the opening with the little Peter Parker was a little weak. I really didn't think not when he went to Aunt May and Uncle Ben's, but the opening where he's playing hide and seek and stuff, I think is just corny.
It's weird.
It seems really disjointed there. Like, it doesn't really need to be there. I mean, you could just have him. I don't know.
It would be more interesting if it just opened on him standing in that room and everything's broken, or walking into that room and everything's broken, and you go,
it felt to me like it was a kid's whirlwind remembrance of it, though. You know how it felt like.
Yeah, I guess it could be.
He was being whisked out of this whole thing, and it felt very fast and torn apart like that. So that's the way that I felt with that beginning. Instead of letting it feel so distant.
The thing I love about that scene is actually the score.
The score in this movie is amazing.
Yeah, James, are you kidding me?
Said that
Brad
too.
is
She
Brad
never
is
thinks
shaking
about
his
the
head.
movie or music in movies.
Are you kidding me? You're gonna diss on James Horner.
I'm not dissing on James Horner. I just think his score for this movie is one of the weakest, most uninteresting. Superhero score. It didn't seem like a superhero score at all.
No, it doesn't.
Which makes sense for a lot of other things, but I'm like.
But you can't. This isn't going to be my argument for it. You can't have it like it was in Spider-Man because Batman Begins sounds exactly like Spider-Man's score. That and that's actually my biggest problem with the Batman movies is their score is exactly like Spider-Man's that came a year before it.
Yeah,
or 3 years actually.
But Danny Elfman made the original Batman score.
And the
no, I'm not talking about the original Batman score. The original Batman score is dun, 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 you know.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about Batman Begins and The Dark Knight has that dun, 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 dun. Same thing as Spider-Man.
And I think it's a conscious choice because James Horner scores are usually a bit more in your face and a bit more like you're listening to a James Horner score, and this one is understated and subdued.
I think so too, but there's parts where they do hero shots of Spider-Man where I think the score is amazing. Yeah. I don't mean to say that as a pun intended.
And I hate to waste so much time on this, but I think that the Gwen Stacy theme is beautiful and romantic and melancholy at the same time. There is, maybe I'm bringing this to the table, but I think that her theme is a little bit sad.
All the dramatic stuff sounds good because the subdued nature of it sounds good, but like all the cool comic booky, like exciting parts all seem dull to me. Like score wise, so. Like I want that iconic, for Spider-Man.
I don't. I think actually this Spider-Man theme is way better than the other, the original one. But
anyway.
It's okay. Everybody interprets it a different way. But there's parts of this I think. One, I have a lot of big fanboy moments in this movie.
Yeah.
The first time you see Gwen Stacy sitting on the table, I seriously, I couldn't believe it. I just saw the Gwen Stacy I saw when I was reading comic books just on screen.
Yeah.
Just the innocence of her, how cute she is.
Big eyes.
Yeah, there's just something about her. And there's looks that Emma Stone gives in that movie that just melts your heart. The one where she talks to Peter Parker after...
Uncle Ben?
No, not after Uncle Ben, after her father. And she has that umbrella and she looks back at him. Oh, man, my heart.
So good. The scene that they have together when Uncle Ben comes because he gets in trouble with picking on Flash Thompson, that scene that they have together in the hallway, unbelievable.
It is.
Like they're a little bit. I would almost believe that a lot of that dialogue is just improvised because their chemistry there is so good. Obviously, because they're actually dating in real life. So
and one thing too, there's fanboy moments that I just so much appreciate. Flash Thompson is a character in Spider-Man comics that was the bully and all this thing, but he had this respect for Peter Parker because Peter Parker was so much smarter than him, and he also tutored him in the comic books. And such a powerful scene. And I don't care how many times I see Uncle Ben die, it still always gets me.
Yeah.
But when he's after Uncle Ben dies and he calls out Parker, and Peter grabs him, and he's like, "It feels better, doesn't it?" Just so he can let go some of that anger. And there's just moments with that character that are great.
I think that what sets this movie apart from the original three, and from a lot of superhero movies, is the fact that we go a long time without ever seeing. In fact, very similar to Batman Begins, we go a long time without ever seeing actual Spider-Man. It spends a lot of time just setting up Peter Parker and making you actually like Peter Parker, not just pity Peter Parker or see Peter Parker as this sort of cliche like I think I do in the first three. This is a guy that I think is really cool and fun to be around, and I like following him and I like rooting for him. And because they put him at the center of the movie, when by the end, when stuff is actually happening and things are going wrong, I care more than I think I do in the other movies.
It's. I mean, I love the original trilogy. I'll never say anything bad about it, but
I will.
I know but this one, the Peter Parker in it was the Peter Parker you love.
Yeah.
I mean, the greatest line in the whole movie is when the car thief gets out and Spider-Man's jumping towards him. He's like, crotch, because he got him between his legs. And
it is.
You miss the wisecracking Spider-Man because that's such a part of his character. And you know,
and it's not even just the things that he says. There are certain actions. Shoot, I had one that I was trying to remember, and now I can't. But there are certain things that he'll do that are just funny little ways to use his powers. One of them is like in that car, that scene in the car where he keeps whipping the door closed on the guy, where it's not even necessarily what he's saying. It's just the sort of atmosphere, the way he treats his superpowers that is so much fun.
And you don't think you'd miss mechanical web shooters as much as I did.
Yeah.
Because it's just so cool.
It is.
And
it made the whole thing really neat. Every time you'd see, even they made that lighting effect on his wrist, and you'd hear the sound of it happening, and I was like, even when it was used against, when it crushed him. I'm so sorry. Yeah, when the lizard crushed the web shooters, and you're thinking, well, how the heck's he going to finish this off now? It was really, really cool.
Yeah,
so it gives him a lot more weakness for sure.
What they really focused on here was the characters. Even Dr. Kirk Connors in Spider-Man comics, he's never really a bad guy.
Yeah,
he just wants his arm. And one of my favorite understated scenes is the one where he's standing in the reflection of himself, and he holds up his one hand and he wants it. And what they don't really explain in this, and I've read some reviews where people have an issue with when he's in the sewer and you hear him talking, two people talking.
Yeah.
What people don't know about the Lizard is when the Lizard is separate from Kirk Connors. It's really weird. Like the Lizard tells Connors what to do, because the Lizard is a separate entity, and they never made that clear in the movie. Being a Spider-Man fan, I knew that's what it was. Like, the Lizard tells him to do bad things. It's like schizophrenia, basically.
It was really reminiscent of the Green Goblin in the first movie.
It is, but unless you really listen to what... I mean, I've seen the movie 3 times, and I thought that originally, but what the Lizard is saying and what Connors is coming back with is totally different.
Two different things, yeah.
Because the Lizard says, no, because Connors is trying to cure people, and Lizard says, you don't need to cure people, you need to make them like me. And it's a really interesting take on it.
Willem Dafoe was like, I don't want to hurt Spider-Man, but the Green Goblin's like, you gotta get rid of Spider-Man. So it's kind of the same thing.
I think it's very similar, and I have a feeling
I just thought it was an interesting choice to do that, because like you're trying to avoid being similar to the original, like, as much as possible, and like for them to go there with the villain, it's like, wow.
Well, I think that when they eventually get around to doing Green Goblin, which they are obviously going to do, it'll be the same way, and that'll actually be something that ties it all together. Is the fact that I thought that's exactly. I was with you. I thought that's exactly where they were going.
Yeah, because in Ultimate Spider-Man, when Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man and the Green Goblin becomes the Green Goblin, it's all that formula that transforms Connors too. It's called the Oz. So, I mean, obviously he's going to use it and he's going to turn into the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Because, the formula is green as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're definitely setting it up. Is it in the next movie? I don't know.
Can I ask you a question, though?
Sure.
What what were they experimenting with the spiders for?
The cross-genetics, cross-species.
Yeah, they were genetically manipulating spiders in order to weave the actual thread itself. So, like, that whole room is just about making the stuff that they're putting into canisters and using as cable and stuff. But the idea being, and they never say this, but I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, the idea just being that because they're spiders, same as the first, as Spider-Man 1, because they're spiders that have been genetically altered, if they bite you, you become genetically a spider too, and it doesn't
And that was the first, Connors has a speech where that was the first thing that Richard Parker successfully cross-blended species with, were spiders, and that's what they were after, that math, that equation, because he figured it out.
Yeah, the fact that he got it right proves that he figured out that equation, which is why they're coming after him, which is why he's hiding it. So
okay,
that's what I got from it.
I was thinking that maybe this was all stuff that was going to be explained a little bit better in the next movie or something.
They may go back to it, but I think it's all. It's stuff that, like, if they talk about it, then it's a long scene of exposition in a movie that is rehashing stuff that we saw 11 years ago. So it's like they have to kind of get through that stuff as quickly as they can. Like, oh, he gets bitten by a spider, let's move on. But you're right. And the thing is, what's interesting to me is how well all of that stuff is actually sort of planned out, like how they clearly thought about a lot of that stuff, which then makes it frustrating to me when there's scenes like, Peter Parker has a camera that has a label property of Peter Parker on it. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you couldn't find a better way to do that? I was talking in the theater that the way to do it is just simply that camera is pretty iconic. you just have a scene earlier where like maybe he's taking a picture in the lab and Kirk Connors yells at him not to take pictures, and then he remembers the camera later. Like that's all you had to do, not this stupid.
Yeah,
that really is every time it happens.
Yeah, there's
in the movie,
a couple.
I can't help but roll my eyes.
Or you could just flip through the pictures. Oh wait, it's a film camera.
Yeah, it's a film camera.
Never
so
mind.
he'd have to develop.
Yeah,
it.
and you didn't need to do it because Kirk Connors is such a smart guy. You know, he could probably have figured it out.
Exactly. You know, you just had to have one quick shot where Kirk Connors sees the camera and later sees the camera. You know.
But I am really happy. One of the things I was worried about too is that Gwen Stacy knew who Spider-Man was.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm surprised that big spoilers that they actually did do the death of Captain Stacy in this one.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the big.
In the comics, does Captain Stacy die before or after Gwen Stacy?
Oh, way before.
And in the same context where he makes her promise, makes Peter
I always
promise.
thought in the comics like she died and then he was like on a vendetta.
Oh no! It's actually it's opposite because she doesn't know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man in the comics, so she blames Spider-Man and hates Spider-Man. Wants nothing to do with Spider-Man. So then Peter feels guilty about being Spider-Man and being with Gwen, and he even says, "I can't be with Gwen because if she finds out that I'm Spider-Man." And I'm responsible for her dad being dead, then I don't know.
It's actually one of the things I like about the movie is the fact that they are allowed to just tell Gwen.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I think just haunts the first film where, like, oh, we can't get... Well, and the second one. This whole, like, oh, we can't tell MJ. It's this really big deal. Is it really... Like, he's a 17-year-old kid. Like, he's not going to tell his girlfriend? No, sure he is.
Yeah, and how they told him was really cute.
Yeah.
You know, I just those parts. Some parts I was really worried about. Actually, my geek mind was laid at peace because you see things and you're when I saw the first teaser trailer, I was really worried about this movie.
Yeah.
But it actually turned out really well, and Andrew Garfield is amazing as Peter Parker.
And they're clearly following the Ultimate storyline more, where like. I'm pretty sure that it's obvious that Aunt May knows he's Spider-Man too.
Oh yeah.
Like
it seems
there are going to be more people, and the fact that the Lizard finds out that he's Spider-Man, like, it's going to become something where throughout the series, people are going to know who Spider-Man.
Because
is.
basically, in Ultimate Spider-Man, I mean, all his villains are created at Oscorp because. When he gets bit, there's an explosion that creates Dr. Octopus, and then Norman Osborn wants to use what Spider-Man uses to make himself a powerful person. And I mean, obviously that's what they're going for, except in this one, Norman Osborn's dying.
He's dying, yeah.
So they're trying to, I guess they're creating a form. He's being selfish and creating a form. Well, not surprisingly, Norman Osborn is crazy. But yeah, there's a few things I was worried about in the movie. There's some amazing set pieces and
really great rescue scene on the bridge too. I mean, that was just with the little boy and the mask and everything. That was just so freaking cool.
That's what I mean. That's how he taught. That's how he learned his great responsibility. It's not that I have these powers and I can do whatever I want. You know, because the robber gets away in this one who shoots Uncle Ben. So at the beginning, it's a personal vendetta.
Yeah.
But then he realizes that he has all these powers and can do so much good with them. And putting the mask on the little kid. I mean, anybody can be Spider-Man.
Oh, that scene's so good.
Yeah,
that was a great.
But
scene.
I will say, like, as cool as we saw it in 3D today when we saw it on IMAX 3D, which doesn't really add much except for the fact that in the crane sequence when it's just Spider-Man swinging, it looks like you're looking at Spider-Man swinging through a city.
How was the scene right where like he's going at the very end where it's like he's almost
shooting
through
that
the
was pretty
crane.
cool.
Was
it was pretty cool. But
and there's scenes too. My favorite actual battle scene is when they're inside the school.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is like swinging around him and just shooting his webs at him really fast. That's what I do to people when I want them to shut up. I call it impact web. And I mean, just seeing him shoot the webs like that. And the one thing that I noticed in this movie that I missed in the Raimi, and I love the original trilogy, don't get me wrong, but is the movements of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And this seemed way more real to me. Even just the little things, you know, when he gets shot in the leg and he puts the webbing on it and he starts running, you can see that he's in pain, and it's cool. I loved the movie.
They still did the thing, which it was something that Sam Raimi, you know, made a point to do when he made his picture, which is that with all of the CG shots, as often as possible, they had Spider-Man fall into positions that were iconic Spider-Man positions, and he does the same thing here. Like, you were constantly looking at stuff that looks like it's comic book art. In fact, I actually think that they redesigned the suit, which you hardly ever notice, but they made it slightly more glossy, which means that in all the night shots, it looks more stylized, which I just think
That
looks
scene
pretty.
where
It
he
looks like
comes
cool
out from
comic
the
book
alley,
art.
and there's the pigeons, and you catch the moonlight right behind
Yeah.
him, and it's just like I was like, that's a comic shot right there.
Exactly.
That looks so cool.
And that's that's what they did. I think they hit some similar beats of the first the original movie.
It ends almost the same.
Almost
they
the
scared
same.
the crap out of me. That last sequence, I'm going, oh shit!
But
You can't end in the same place.
Yeah, and now that we got there, when she tells him that my dad promised that you wouldn't see me,
which just makes her so much smarter than
yeah.
MJ.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
MJ is so stupid, she can never figure this shit out.
Oh, but we haven't talked about how great Dennis Leary is in this movie. But when he's telling Peter that you're going to make enemies and you got to promise me that you'll stay away from Gwen. And the comic's a little different. He says, "Promise me that you'll keep Gwen safe."
Yeah,
basic same thing.
Yeah,
but and then the very last scene is when the teacher says to Peter Parker, "Don't make promises you can't keep." And he says sometimes those are the best promises. And Gwen smiles. Like, my fanboy heart breaks because she's not going to make it.
Yeah,
they're setting her up to die so bad.
But it's
And it-
going to be
Well,
an amazing
because
Oh yeah,
and
when
that
it
just goes back
happens-
to Emma Stone saying that has to happen because her character is defined by that. And I think Spider-Man is defined by his tragedies.
Oh, yeah.
And how well he handles them and how much better of a person and a hero he becomes because of them.
And I think it's great that they didn't do that in the first movie. Because,
Oh, me too. I don't
like,
want
the
to see
fact that
Emma
they're
Stone
gonna drag
die.
it- I would love
Dude,
for it
I'm
to
gonna-
not happen
I'm
until
not
the
gonna-
third one.
I'm going to tell you, I'll probably cry when Emma Stone dies in that movie.
Yeah.
And I even get chills when he says, "I'm going to throw you out the window right now," and he throws her out and he catches her with a web.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That was cool.
That was so cool. I will say, like, if I compare this to the original movies, which it's unfair, like, it's just a crummy way to look at this movie to constantly look at those original movies because they're all, with some
But
exceptions.
didn't you do that when Batman Begins came out? Didn't you say, "Man, well, think about how Keaton did it on this and stuff like that"?
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, those were, I felt it's totally much more different.
Well, and
story-wise,
much further
more different.
apart too.
Yeah,
I mean, these are
exactly.
still pretty close.
And
Exactly.
Batman Begins is way better than
Um,
anything that Tim Burton did.
Yeah, and I would say that as well. Like, I think that. Sorry, Brad. What?
They each Batman trilogy, or not trilogy, but each stylistically they match the comic book eras that they're in.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
Like,
wouldn't I wouldn't call Tim
going
Burton's
from-
bad. It's
I
what it
would-
was in 1989.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact that, like, tonally these two movies are so similar, it becomes unfair to really compare them that much because they both have great things about them and they both have, slightly less than great things about them. But one of the things that I think is not as good about this new one yet is the fact that the action sequences are not quite.
Thank you.
Certainly, but here's the thing: I don't think that. I keep comparing it to Spider-Man 2. When I look back at Spider-Man 1, the action sequences in that movie are not that much better than this one. I don't think. In fact, I can't I might even say that some of them in this one are better. They're just not. They never are quite as striking because I think they're smaller set pieces. Like
Well,
he's
Brad,
fighting
you're
in a
so
room,
excited,
they're
so you
fighting
didn't
in a-
like about the movie. Why don't you tell us what you didn't like about it? He's like, "Thank you." Finally,
Yeah,
someone said
so
something
much.
bad about it.
No. I said, remember that thing about the camera when I was getting nitpicky? Yeah, I just don't think the action sequences are as like balls to the wall action as you have to compare it to Avengers. You can't not.
But I'm going to change. I don't think that's what was important for this movie.
I don't think it is either. But if you're coming to it as just I want to see cool Spider-Man spectacle, this is not a spectacle Spider-Man movie. This is a heartwarming Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, this is a Spider-Man drama.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
makes sense because it's a guy who's more attuned to directing dramas.
Yeah. But the truth is, I think that's what I wanted. I don't think I needed,
Well, yeah. I mean, Joe. Yeah, go ahead.
I said I think that's why I got so into Ultimate Spider-Man was it was the drama of Peter Parker.
Well,
Exactly.
there's my favorite single issue of Ultimate Spider-Man is number 13, where he reveals who he is to Mary Jane, and it's literally 22 pages of them just talking. There's no action, and it's great.
Yeah. Because that is far more interesting.
Or when
to me
Spider-Man
than,
dies in it.
That is far more interesting to me than just another. Especially because part of the thing about Marvel is that where DC has better villains, Marvel has slightly weaker villains a lot of the time. And we were talking about this in the car. A lot of Spider-Man villains, you can interchange them. It's another doctor who wants to do something good but goes slightly crazy and ends up doing something bad, and Spider-Man has to fight him. So you could take the Lizard and switch him out with Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2, and it's just another action romp where I needed a movie where it was really just about Peter Parker. and that's what they gave us.
I had a hard time, like, the first night we saw this, we had a terrible audience.
Oh gosh, it was the worst.
So parts of the movie I just wasn't into, and so this being a movie that's already difficult to like review because you got the other three sitting like very close to it.
Exactly.
Like professionally, I don't want to compare it to those because it needs to be its own thing. Like just review this movie itself. But I can't help still looking back. Like when I watched the Raimi movies, when I watch those movies, on like a subtext level, I feel like I see a guy who's making a movie about something he's really passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
With this one, I feel like their only goal is to hit the beats that they need to hit. Like they're doing all the good stuff that they need to do. It's not going above and beyond or doing anything different. It's simply saying like the fans want this, so it needs to be there, and like they check it off the list. And with the Raimi ones, I feel like here's a very passionate fan making a movie. With the way the action parts are so much more dynamic and where he places the camera. And this one, the character development is much better. Garfield and Emma Stone and like all the characters are very charismatic in the movie because they have a lot of time to just sit there and talk and get the audience on their side.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah, I mean the problem is and I mean I'm not disagreeing with you, but the thing with Raimi is he's already such a visual director, and he has so much passion for that aspect of his filmmaking. Even if you go back to the Evil Dead 2, he always did those innovative things, and he always had that passion for it. And I agree. I think
that's what makes like those Spider-Man movies cool, though. It's like and just across all superhero movies, it's like it made that different from like Batman and even I guess the Avengers, like just the way he treated it. And then this one, that's what sucks about reviewing this is if I hadn't seen those, I probably wouldn't even notice that with this movie. Like it would just be like, okay, well, there's some okay action. But after seeing the Avengers, like the action in that is fantastic. So
yeah, and I had the same kind of experience with with the crane sequence or the stuff that builds up the crane sequence. The fact that there is sort of this very sort of patriotic moment of like, here are these guys and they're going to help Spider-Man, and it feels very much like. It's harkening back to that scene on the bridge in Spider-Man 1 where the guys are throwing the rocks at Green Goblin and going, he's one of us. He's a New Yorker. You leave him alone. And it's still a scene that when I watch Spider-Man 1 is so touching and makes you kind of want to cry. And when I watched it in this movie where they were doing something kind of like that, here's some regular guys helping out Spider-Man, it didn't ring quite as true as that first time did.
Also, how did I know where he was?
What?
Like how they even know where he was to line up the cranes?
Because the news people were telling him. Mm-hmm. They were saying like, "Oh, he's over here and he's trying to get there, but he can't get there fast enough."
Well, they figured it out really quick.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest. I like Spider-Man 3, but one of my least favorite parts in Spider-Man 3 is when they had the news people telling you what was happening.
Oh yeah,
saying really, you need to tell me that Sandman and Spider-Man are fighting. I'm pretty sure I can see it.
Yeah,
and also, this is kind of a nitpicky thing, but like the credit sequences, like the opening's very short, and then the end is just like white on black text.
Yeah,
like especially after the Avengers again. Like this is
the
a big
typography
budget.
is messed up, man.
This is a big. Well, not even just the typography, just like this is a big budget movie.
Yeah,
it's a.
Well, maybe
an important like commercial property, and all they do is like white on black. Like,
well, but I mean, you care about how credits look at the end. I mean, does the average movie go?
I just feel like it should look like $1 million, and like the Avengers had like all the different characters, like weapons, as their names came up.
Oh yeah. No, I agree.
No, and then it's just like Mark Webb.
Yeah. I want that stuff too, but most movies just don't have it. And I actually kind of like the fact that it just sort of starts because it's something else that says it. The original 3 have those long, big opening credit sequences that I don't need to see that again. I don't need you to tell me the story through the credit sequence like those ones did.
I don't need the story part. I just feel like it should be a little more polished. Like,
that's
like
that
you
one
spent some money on it.
It was interesting. It was weird that it was just seriously black on white. You don't even see that very much anymore.
Yeah, like they finished the movie like 5 days beforehand. Like they just had to get like
that's what
they had to spend on the
end credits felt like, didn't it?
That's what they had. They had to spend all the money on the 3D conversion. So
yeah,
what were they?
It was not converted to 3D. It was shot in 3D.
Oh, was it? Well, there were still
by
there were still
by
shots
the Avatar
converted.
guys.
Oh, I forgot to say that.
I mean, there are guys in the credits who are credited for 3D conversion. So
I forgot to say, in order to help with my review, I saw it again last night in 3D, so I could be like, okay, well, it wasn't just the audience ruining my experience. It it just reaffirmed, like, oh yeah, I felt, as I just said, like, okay, these things that bothered me the first time around, they were still existent without the obnoxious.
Oh, that audience was so bad.
Jerks.
Literally took a picture in the, like, at one point
in the theater. Yeah,
we were talking so much, and I said this afterwards. They booed when we saw the trailer for Twilight before the movie. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. It's not much of a limb because I'm very confident in saying this. You have no right to boo at a movie like Twilight or ever judge a movie like Twilight if you are as disrespectful as talking in a movie or taking a picture. Just shut up. Just seriously. Okay?
And me and Joe, when we went and saw it, there's a Mexican couple that were talking like we're talking right now in Spanish.
Because were they like translating it?
Dios mío, no sé.
Wow.
And the dude was like laying in her lap. It was really weird. Like he was the
Can you even
fudge? I was doing so good.
Can you even see the movie if you're laying in somebody else's lap?
No, and obviously not because he was saying.
Please describe it to me.
What is Spider-Man? I don't know what Spider-Man.
There were some
Spanish
cute kids in there though. That
Yeah.
were. I mean, they were really
yeah.
into it.
Yeah, there were
That
some
was-
kids.
Yeah.
The best part was, at the end where Peter Parker's defeated the lizard and he's had a tough day and he comes in and does that goofy smile. And then he pulls out the eggs. It's really quiet in the theater, but then some kid yelled, "Oh, he got the eggs this time." It was
really
cute. And the whole audience laughed. It was really funny.
That's awesome.
So anything else you want to add to the review, Joey? Did we cover everything?
Nah, you guys. I mean, I'm glad I got to sit in. I thought it was a great movie. I enjoyed it from start to finish. I thought that the action scenes were really cool. I thought the music was awesome.
Yeah, so
and
I'm glad you agree with me, Joey.
I think that Times Roman font on black is fine. I don't see what the big deal was there, but
It's actually a scoop. Since you do our game podcast, it's a scoop because then now we're going to know what kind of font is going to be used on the PlayStation 4 when it comes out.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I stole that joke from so many people on the internet. I'm sorry. Internet.
I didn't know.
We do have to talk about, though, there is a really awful post-credit sequence.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys thought it was awful because I thought it was just me.
No. It's just because it was so bizarre.
Yeah, I don't even know why
and it
put in
doesn't
there.
do anything.
No.
It does like it is.
And it leads up to speculation. I was telling them because I've seen it so many, 3 times this week, that at the beginning, when he's playing hide and seek and that broom falls with a hat on it, they put so much emphasis on the shot of the hat, and then at the end of the movie, the mysterious figure in the shadow is twiddling a hat.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe that's his dad. That his dad's still alive, and that's what Kurt Connors is seeing. But I don't. It's just weird. Like the whole, it's too short and it doesn't accomplish anything.
We all assumed it was Norman Osborn, but first of all, it doesn't seem like Norman. Like I would hate for Norman Osborn to be that old of a guy.
Yeah.
When they finally do it, and what's his name? Rhys Ifans, the guy who plays the Lizard, Kurt Connors, said in an interview this week that it is not Norman Osborn. Now, nobody else is going to confirm that, and actors say that kind of stuff all the time and aren't always right. But I still think it's got to be the Vulture because it's an old guy who looks crotchety and.
Like it has to be some. I could be a figment of his imagination of him thinking what he's seeing because there's a flash and there's a guy in there and there's another flash and it goes away. It could technically be Electro, but Electro doesn't teleport, so I don't know. Raiden does. Are they going to mesh it with Mortal Kombat?
It could be Spider-Man using the same power that he magically has to teleport into the car with the car thief and then teleport out of the car. Still bugs me. How'd he get in the car?
He has superhuman speed. You can travel up to speeds of 700 miles an hour. So
yeah, but how'd he get in the car? Because it was locked.
No, the dude unlocked it. It went boop, 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 shoo, and then he got in, and Spider-Man was already in there because he got in at the same time.
That doesn't physically make sense.
I told you, Spider-Man has superhuman speed.
Okay, all right. That's what I'll go with.
Thank you.
How cool was the Stan Lee scene?
Oh, yeah, Stan Lee was
so
awesome.
good.
You know what's cool about Marvel movies is you always have looking out for the Stan Lee scene, no matter what movie it is. It could be Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Avengers,
everybody
Hulk.
respects that.
I forgot to look
Except
for it. Like,
well,
so
no,
late
Captain
in the movie.
America. Captain America's not in.
Is he not in No, yeah, he is. He's darn it, he's in it. He's in it. I know he is.
When?
I swear he's in it. He's a scientist or something. I'll have to rewatch it. Anybody remember?
He's not in it.
Is he not in it?
I'm with you.
For
I
one
can't,
thing,
I
for
can't
one
put my
thing,
finger
he
on
didn't
it, but
create.
I'm pretty
he
sure
didn't
he's in it.
create Captain America. So.
He didn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my money on he's not in.
He
it.
might not be.
But he's like obligated to be in like every Marvel movie or something.
But he didn't. No. All just the characters that he made.
So yeah, I'll have to watch Captain America when you guys leave, and when I find it, I'll let you guys know.
At home, if you're listening, if you know what it is, write in and tell us.
Yeah, and we might be wrong because I don't remember it, so maybe he's not in it. Maybe Mark Wahlberg will call in again.
Will call in and tell us.
But yeah, the post-credit sequence was unnecessary because one, they didn't need to because they kept on saying Norman Osborn throughout the whole movie. So
And-
Norman Osborn's going to play a part in the second one. Maybe not the Goblin, but
And because that moment in the classroom is a nicer moment to end on.
I agree.
It's
That
just-
should have been the end credit scene.
Yeah.
And you have also another cool story about seeing it the first evening.
Oh yeah, well. It wasn't cool at the beginning.
Didn't start out very cool.
If you go to Regal, Regal did a thing where if you got a midnight ticket to Spider-Man and you went to see Spider-Man, they would give out action figures of Spider-Man.
And it said on the poster, while supplies last.
Exactly. So we left my Spider-Man barbecue party early, and we went down there. And when we got there, they said, "Oh no, that's only if you buy an IMAX 3D ticket, and you'll get a poster, and the poster has a number on it. And if we call your number, then you win the Spider-Man figure." And I told him, that's not what it says on the internet, and that's not what it says on the poster there.
Yeah, it's not a raffle.
It's not a
You
raffle.
never said it was a raffle, and you never said IMAX only.
So then I offered to buy one for $20, and they said no. Then I offered to buy an IMAX ticket, and they could just give me a winning number. They said no. So I was giving them a hard time, and I left, and I was sitting in the theater, and I decided I want M&Ms. And so I got up, and I went out there. I said, come on, I have a Spider-Man tattoo. I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt and hat. My wallet is Spider-Man. Why don't you just give it? Because I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan here. And they said, no, not going to do it. I don't care. We're not going to do it. So we get into the movie, and we're dealing with a horrible audience. I'm pissed off because they're talking, and I had to shush them once.
The
and
movie
then
froze.
The movie froze when
Oh, I
Peter
forgot about
Parker
that. Yeah.
hit the space bar to watch the video.
And the whole screen turned off.
The theater stopped working. And then those kids decided it was okay to talk again. Then they took a picture. My wife had to yell at them. And so I'm watching the movie. I've been waiting a long time for a Spider-Man movie again. And I'm getting pissed off. And as I'm leaving, the manager for the theater says, hey, someone didn't claim a Spider-Man figure, and she gave it to me. So I was able to get the Spider-Man figure.
Was she actually a manager?
She was. Her name's Cheyenne.
Yeah.
And so thank you, Cheyenne. As you can see, I left my envelope here that has a bunch of coupons. I'm not going to say where because I don't want to get fired. A bunch of coupons so she can enjoy something. But the cool thing is the action figure. I didn't know if it would be some cheesy action figure, and it's the Marvel Legends Select Amazing Spider-Man figure,
It's
which
like a
is
$30 figure.
It's a $30 figure. So yeah. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
that was so
made
cool.
it so much cooler, and that she sought me out after the movie and
Yeah.
made sure I got it. Was even cooler.
And
then, of
sat
course-
through all the credits too, so it was like she had
Yeah.
to wait extra long for you to come
Yeah,
out.
it's not like I was
She had to make sure that you were like a good moviegoer who will stay through the credits.
exactly.
And then these guys don't know this, but when we went to see it at that theater today, we get there and the lady ripping tickets, who is always there, she looks up and she goes, "No, I can't let him come in here. He's a troublemaker."
Yeah, because I gave her so much crap. I mean, I was kind of being an asshole.
Yeah,
I'll admit it. You can bleep that part out. I was kind of being a butthead, and just because it was annoying, because I even went to their website after we sat down in the theater, and it said first come, first serve.
Yeah. And we were first.
And we were first there, and I was not served. We also have, we teased it earlier, we have a friend who called in and actually reviewed the movie and did a really good job on it. It's Jesse, our friend Jesse, so we will play that review for you right now. It's a more condensed version and probably a better review than we just did. So, yeah, here we go. Jesse, thanks.
Hi, I'm actually calling in to share my review of the new Spider-Man movie. I, for one, felt like the new Spider-Man movie was a refreshing modern take on the whole Spider-Man mythos. Don't get me wrong, I definitely went into this movie with a lot of hesitation and concerns. I'm a big fan of the Sam Raimi versions and was afraid they were going to screw Spider-Man up. What I instead found was a fresh and welcome modernization to a classic character. The Sam Raimi films were a great take on the classic Spider-Man, the one I grew up with, but like so many other things in comics, that version of the character no longer works in today's modern world. It's hard to relate to Peter Parker because no one is that nerdy. Today's nerds are more sullen social outcasts than the thick glasses, pocket protector look we're used to. Hell, big glasses are making a comeback. Look at any emo hipster out there. Plus, Peter Parker, who lives in Queens, actually sounds like he's from Queens in the new movie, complete with accent and all. Another thing that bugs me in the older stories is, why does Aunt May need to be so old? It makes more sense to have an Aunt May who is in her late 50s, early 60s, much like Sally Field's character, rather than the octogenarian we're used to in the comics. Let's face it, that woman needs to be put in a home. I also really enjoyed the darker backstory and the intrigue with Peter's parents. It's nice to know that there is acknowledgement as to what happened to them rather than the old story of, he lives with his aunt and uncle, don't question it too much. I liked the center on genetic research and the fact that Norman Osborn is ill and there is genetic research going into trying to cure him, which will hopefully make his transition into the Green Goblin more seamless and less, why is this guy injecting himself with weird chemicals? Why not test it out on the homeless people instead? Hopefully this time around he won't have that damn Power Ranger suit. I was also glad they did away with the whole wrestler thing too. How stupid was all of that? Instead, they managed to show the lesson he learns about great power and responsibility, thank God they took that line out as well, in a more modern and natural way. All in all, the character development was much better, the plot was more interesting, and the acting/cast selection was great fit as well. It was a fresh look at a beloved character in a way that is more in keeping with today's youth and the world in general. Well, I'm glad I could throw in my 2 cents, and I look forward to being able to download this podcast on my Android-powered device, because in today's day and age, you'd have to be a complete idiot to only cater to Apple.
Again, thank you so much for calling in. You can call us 720-6NERDS5, and you can hear your voice on the podcast. I hope some other actor who was in a boy band will call us this week, and, you know, maybe Vanilla Ice, who knows? Maybe he'll call after we talked about Ninja Turtles, too.
Nick Lachey.
Nick Lachey. Who is that? I don't know who that is.
He was in 98 Degrees, married Jessica Simpson. Why the heck do I know
Why
this?
do you know that?
Nerd card revoked.
Revoked. So, yeah, you can call us 720-6NERDS5. You can also email us, realnerds@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, real_nerds. And you can also like us on Facebook. You can go to our website, realnerdspodcast.com. And next week, there's not a movie we want to see. Ice Age Continental Drift is the only movie that is coming out. So we have a special treat for you. We've been teasing it for a while, but when we were at Comic-Con, we did interviews with 3 artists, and we will be releasing all those interviews on one podcast. It's Rebecca Isaacs, who does Angel and Faith, Georges Jonti, who does Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and also Zach Howard, who does The Cape and Shaun of the Dead and Alien and a bunch of things, and he's a really great artist. And all of them were super nice and super fun. I hope you enjoy those interviews. But we'll also do our normal podcast, and we'll add those in, too.
Yeah.
So we just won't have anything new to watch. Unless we get free tickets to Continental Drift.
And
so, Fox, if you're listening, you send us free tickets to Ice Age, and we'll go see it.
There's, like, nothing indie out right now either.
We've seen
other
everything.
than the stuff we've seen.
So, yeah, so stay tuned for that, and thanks for listening. Bye.
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 Haha, you can't say anything bad about me because it's a family show.
I can't. Darn it. I did really good till the end.